right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Yes. Hey, guys, welcome back to the channel tonight on the Tundra Nation, episode number 18. Precision defined. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hypo, give me an oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Scott, give me an oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining, tuning in tonight. I'm going to tune down my microphone just a touch because it seems like I'm a little hot. Little hot. Woo! We're going to have a grand old night tonight. You know, honestly, right before the show, I wasn't having the greatest of days, but then I got together with you fine gentlemen, and man, it just seems like my life and night turned around. So thank you, Hypo, for joining tonight. Thank you, Scott, for joining tonight. Last minute, of course. And man, we're gonna have a good show for you guys tonight. We very much appreciate everybody joining and spending some of your hard-earned Saturday night time with the Tundra Nation host and degenerate guest that we have on each week, or when we have guests on each week. I think this is the hat trick, though. I think this is the first time since we rebranded the channel that we've had 3 guests in a row. So Scott. Well done, sir. Well done.
I love you, the balloon
Represent
falling.
Precision Holsters right there. Scott, we'll get into who you are and what you do here in just a wee bit. But before we dive into that, party on, Garth.
Party on, Wayne.
Outstanding. Hypo, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing wonderful that I'm on with you.
I genuinely missed you last week, but fortunately I had the beautiful, lovely, and talented Ash, a.k.a. Angel of Verdun, to help carry the show. So the show went off without a hitch. How was your weekend off from the show, sir?
It was wonderful, thank you.
Yeah.
I spent a good amount of time with Lady playing some games and just kind of recharging from it all.
Yeah, man, you've had a rough couple of weeks, so I think you earned it, and we're happy to see you back on the show and recharged.
Thank you. I'm happy to see that you guys didn't last 4 hours.
Yeah, yes. Although we did go back. Tufu, actually, I should give credit. Tufu came on and helped co-host the show in your stead. But we did go back and we pulled some old clips. Ashley was, I believe, she was deployed at the time of the infamous Tufu falling asleep, cuddling his AK live on the air.
Yeah, I love that.
That was awesome.
So we replayed that, and then we also one of the Discord members was able to pull the "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" thing for my birthday last year, which I believe that I had drunkenly watched once, but not from a semi-sober perspective, and so I have to say. You know, that's an honor. That sultry voice and that that wonderful lady singing me happy birthday. You can't get much better than that. You can't get much better than that. So I
lived through the whole episode, and watching it the next morning.
How you guys went that long?
I felt so cringed out. The longer it went on, the worse it got.
The AK push-ups. There was AK push-ups. There was Happy Birthday, Mr. President. There was. I mean, Tufu was there, so it was cringeworthy as shit anyways.
Yeah.
Hey, actually, Scott, Hypo, remind me. I got to call Tufu out on something here. He's not watching tonight because he's at Clash Bash. But he posted a video in Discord that is slightly suspect, and I have to call him out on something a little bit later on tonight. And I believe it was Mose from Discord who pointed it out. So thanks to him. I believe it was. But anyways, let's dive right into it. Hypo, who got it, baby? This is interesting. This is interesting because
go with,
hold on. Before you answer, so I'm noticing a discrepancy here. Because when I wonder how it works. Huh. Because this is absolutely not the first comment. Anyways, you make your guess, and then we'll register it as suspect. Because that's just the way it is.
We will immediately discredit everything you say.
Well, I've seen a couple names fly by in chat. I'm going to go with Noob Procrastinator.
So I'm going to give it to you. I'm actually going to give it to you and say it's not suspect because when I started renaming the stream, so for whatever reason, I don't have to go live anymore on Streamlabs. As soon as I start editing the stream, people get a notification and they start commenting. And 100% can confirm Noob Crastinator was the first. However, at the top of the stream here, we have N7X Ranger. So there's a bit of a there's a bit of a as our good friend John from across the pond would say, controversy going on here.
Oh, controversy, yes, indeed. I want to say thanks, Ranger.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Ranger. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you without question of integrity, because that is the name that I saw first as well, and I can confirm that. So, Noob Crastinator, congratulations on the hashtag first tag, and Hypo, you're still batting about 90% on these.
Dude, yeah.
I mean, like, we've been doing these for probably
freaky deaky, bro.
like 25 weeks, and he's probably only missed 2.
I know my people. What can I say?
He knows his people. He knows his people. Hey, Tundra Nation, give Hypo a round of applause. He knows you. He knows you. Let's go through a quick little bit of a roll call here and see who's all in the house. We got N7X Ranger. According to my screen, at least on this side of the chat, it says first. It says meh.
Meh.
Aww.
Empty-headed gamer is in here. He says, look, ever since I don't even know how to pronounce this. I'm skipping it. Sorry, empty-headed gamer. You gotta remember, I'm drunk most of the time I do this. Brutus. That's a new name that I haven't seen before. He says, hello, you dirty pants wearing boys and girl. He made my joke. He made my joke back at me. He did the boys and girl bit. Yes.
Boys and girl.
Okay. Yeah. Well done, Brutus. Well done. Mario Mechanic Molina saying, get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
Alpha Zombie Elite's back. He says, N7X Ranger, so sorry to hear. I don't know what he's talking about, but hey, whatever. Mark Spivey's in the house. Noob Crastinator, of course, is here. As we mentioned earlier. Our good buddy Boog Brand is in the house. He says, what's up, peeps? Ironically enough, or weirdly enough, I read that as what's up, nerds. Close enough. It's the same thing, really. Damien Strevel saying, I'm way late. Actually, you weren't. It was just the pre-show. Because remember, the show used to go up an hour before we started. I've kind of reduced that time frame to a half an hour now. Dr. Cat Milk's in the house, of course. He's saying, hiya, everybody. Does anyone get that? Does anyone get that reference? Anyone get that reference?
Yes.
I'm calling you out. What is it?
Oh, I'm not gonna remember. I know what it is. I mean, yeah.
Hiya, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
I know what. I know what it is,
from
but
The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's too ingrained. It's too back brain for to call up exactly
one
what
of the greatest. One of my favorite lines that I remember from The Simpsons growing up was dial 1-800. What is it? Doctorb. The extra B is for bargain. All right, moving on. Alpha Zombie Elite, we already called him out. Crazy Eyes is in the house. He says, F in chat for Q and pistol bracers. Yeah, we can definitely talk about that a little bit tonight, Crazy Eyes, if you'd like to. I'm sure plenty of people would like to hear our opinion on that. Mark Spivey saying, at Tundra Nation, that place you can go and feel just as abnormal as everybody else. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yuri's in the house. Yuri says, if the drinkers would have a drink for me, I'm on duty for probably the next 5 to 10 nights in a row. Let's raise our glasses, ladies and gentlemen of the chat and of the Tundra Nation, to our good buddy Yuri. And also, let's get an F in chat for our good friend as well. I didn't even hear them come in the room. El Senor Loco, that is also a new name. Is that a new name, Hypo?
Yeah,
El Senor Loco.
Feels new.
It feels new.
It feels very
he says it's been a bit. It's been a bit, so it's just me being drunk. Yeah. So in that case, El Senor Loco, welcome back. I'm sorry I forgot you, but we missed you all the same. That was the most disingenuous recovery of all time. Let's see. We got more from Brutus, Yuri, El Senor. Who else do we got? Tranquil the Cat says, hello, my sexy homeboys, with an I, with male pattern baldness. And boy, did you nail it tonight, buddy. Boy, did you nail it tonight. We got the epic beard trifecta for the second time in 3 weeks, and the lack of top hair.
Yeah, we do it one more time for a third time,
Yeah,
and we
it's the hat
summon
trick, man.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, it's the hat trick. No. Well, I mean, okay, according to Mr. Satanic over here, but for me, I'm a Minnesotan, so everything that's a 3 is a hat trick.
Yeah.
Hockey sucks.
I would have gotten a hat trick.
Get fucked, nerd, by the way. Hey, congratulations, Megan. I don't know if you heard this. Congratulations to the Minnesota Wild today for signing the one and only Cam Talbot as their goaltender. Yes, I'm very excited to see how that turns out. Nobody knows what I'm talking about.
We got little Bean walking in the background.
Yes, we do.
Wait,
We're gonna get to that here very shortly. Cam Talbot.
Do people in Minnesota have normal names, or are they
he's
just
not from Minnesota. He's not from Minnesota.
Okay.
Anyways,
it's got to be Canadian or something.
We got Carnage in
nonsense.
the house. We got Carnage in the house saying ba 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 ba. What up? Exactly, Ellie. I know. Carnage is speaking Ellie's language here. Bulldog, that's another new name, I feel like. He says, I'm pretty sure that if a cannibal ate my liver, he/she would get very drunk. And that just goes to show you're amongst friends. You're amongst friends.
You're in the right place.
Who else do we have? William Cooper's in the house, as long as the better of the looking Willets. The better of the looking Willets says 32nd. Which is well played, sir. And William Cooper says, it's fucking October, walking outside like walking into a sauna. It is interesting. It's been a very, even up here in Minnesota, it's been a very warm October. It was like 80 degrees outside yesterday. So we might have to like start acknowledging this global warming thing soon. I don't know.
Yeah. It's still 90 outside right now.
Yeah, no, we got the opposite going on here in California. It's all that smoke has created this nice dense layer.
You're in a nuclear winter here.
It's beautiful. If you want temperatures, you just don't get to see a beautiful blue sky for weeks on end.
There's a trade-off. Brian is saying, when does this shit show start? It starts right now, sir. Let's see. Roto's in the house saying hello, y'all, and it jumped to the bottom of the page. So we got Pew Pew Park saying, no, at Tundra Tactical, no one gets the Dr. Nick Riviera from The Simpsons reference because it's too old. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of F's in chat. That's fair enough. And I think that covers almost everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. But as we've been seeing teased in the background, let's get our extra special guest for the evening on, Little Miss Ellie Bean.
Not so little Miss Ellie now.
Well,
no kidding.
She's still little to her daddy. Ellie, you want to talk? You want to say hi? Yes, you gonna say hi to everybody? Huh? Are you gonna say hi? Who's that little pretty girl on the screen there? Who's that little pretty girl? Yes, you see yourself. Can you say touchdown? No, you can be shy. No, you want Daddy's microphone, huh? No, that's a very expensive piece of equipment. You cannot have that. Yes. Who's that, Ellie? Who's that little girl? Who's the touchdown? Yay! Touchdown! Yay! That's her new thing. Is when she's watching football. That's what she does when mommy gets excited. Because mommy's a big football fan and daddy's a big hockey fan. So.
No.
Yes, I know. Are you confused now? Are you wondering what's going on? So I just yes. Hello, yes, and we're walking around being a big girl. Uh-huh. Oh, belly slaps. Oh yes, okay. Well, we're going for the microphone. Hey-oh.
Hey-oh.
Hey-oh. All right, little bean. I think it is time for you to go to sleepy sleep and have some sweet dreams about bunnies and happy things and whatever little baby girls dream about. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, we do every week, let's make sure to give some big hearts in chat to Little Miss Ellie Bean and a gigantic 100% participation round of applause to Mrs. Mama Mego herself.
Mama Mego!
The epic woman who goes and takes care of the little bean in the background so that the show can go on every Saturday night, because Lord knows, like I said in the past, if you're married, you know this. If your wife doesn't like what you do, you ain't gonna be doing it for long.
Nope.
And she absolutely does. I love you.
Everybody.
Yes. So, Mama Mega, big
Megan.
round of applause. Lots of hearts going out to Little Miss Ellie Bean. And let's show our support for the behind the scenes crew. Upside Down Baby. Yes. This is one of her new things. She likes being an upside down baby. Look at the hair. Look at the hair.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so fine. It's so fine. Like when she's outside. When she's outside and the wind's blowing, it just goes.
Yeah, look like a comb over, like a Donald Trump kind of.
Yes. It's the funniest damn thing.
Donald.
So ladies and gentlemen of the chat, give credit where credit is due to Mama Mego and Ellie Bean, because one of them is the reason I do the show, and the other makes the show possible. So thank you very, very much for you two fine and wonderfully beautiful ladies. And you, little dear, you have some sweet dreams. You have some sweet dreams, my little Irish girl. She's in her Irish garb tonight.
Oh.
So, all right, let's dive into a little bit of housekeeping, and then we'll get into the show here with some Hypo's hot takes. Guys, if you're new to the channel, first of all, use the @TundraNation tag, and I will do my best. Excuse me, I said that right. Yeah, use the @TundraNation tag. Introduce yourself. I'll do my very, very best. No guarantees, but I'll do my best to call you out and welcome you to the chat. If you're returning here and you just want to get recognized, do the same thing, man. And we're happy to give you guys a shout out as best we can. Like I said, once we get a little deep into the show, I kind of get distracted and start ignoring the chat. But Hypo, if you see something too, make sure to give some fresh hot call outs from that beautiful technical director and studio engineer position. I have not called you that in a long time.
It's been a long time. Yeah.
I mean, you're effectively the co-host, so. Not effectively, you are the co-host. It's a bit of a slap in the face, I suppose. It's a bit of a
oof.
Yeah.
Oof. You know what? It was an illustrious title at the time, and I
Hey Hypo, are you ready to do the show next week?
Be gone, fuck!
That was not the right sounder.
Bruh.
Nope, still not the right one. Nope, still not the right one. I don't know which one it is. Nope.
Fuck you, big boy.
That one.
There are no breaks on this commie fuck train.
I think I lost the sounder, but hey, whatever.
I think the fuck you, big boy works for everything.
Fuck you, big boy.
Fuck you, big boy.
Fuck you, big boy. Fuck you, big boy.
Yeah, it works for everything.
It really does, and that's one of the like. If you guys haven't seen, I got this new fancy piece of equipment called the Go XLR sitting right here. So
fuck you, big boy. Fuck you, big boy. Hello, I need to speak to somebody who can speak a Chinese.
Oh,
that one's dead.
There are no brakes on this commie fuck train.
So that's.
I want that one more. I'm on that. I'm putting money on that stock. I like that one.
You wouldn't be wrong to invest in the Brandon Herrera brand right now. It's kind of popular.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Right. So now that, excuse me, let me get back to housekeeping. If you guys like the channel and feel like supporting us, in the side chat here, Operator Tony will be posting some links. If he's not here, then he's here. I just saw him. But Tony, if you want to post some links to the Discord server, if you guys want to support us and be kind of the next level fan of Tundra Tactical and the Tundra Nation, make sure to join up in our Discord server. It's a hell of a good time. Hypo, myself, Scott is in there quite consistently.
Absolutely. Yep.
As well as a ton of other really, really good people. We've got a little over 1,100 members total, and probably about 200 of those are active on a relatively consistent basis. So it's a fun time, and it's essentially Tundra Nation, formerly Tundra Talk, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a shit show. It's a shit show, but it's fun at the same time.
It's a shit show, but at the same time, one of the more civilized shit shows you will find on the internet.
Don't give us too much credit here, but
that's what I'm trying. It's a fine line.
Yeah, we walk it. We're 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Going on here.
Yeah, we're 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
It's not trolls. It's not trolls.
Degeneracy half the time, respectability the other half of the time.
Yeah.
So-
Shit show, not trolls.
If you are willing to take the next step in support of the Tundra Nation and donate a couple of your hard-earned kopecks that you make each and every week or 2 weeks, depending on when you get paid, maybe monthly, who knows? We have a couple of ways that you can do that as well. Our preferred methods are finding us on patreon.com/Tundra Tactical and donating there. And then the ultimate preferred method, which we give the shout outs for weekly on the live stream, as long as I remember to do them, is direct through PayPal using the email address tyler@tundratactical.com. Let's get this ready. That would be tyler@tundratactical.com. How was that? Was it good? Good?
Yeah, solid.
Solid. Yeah. Solid fine out of 10.
Yes, I'm absolutely not typing. I'm starting a fundraiser to take that Go XLR away from me because of the soundboard.
That's not even the soundboard. That's the built-in effects, because I've got so let's go through just the pre-built effects in this thing. This is I turn the effects button on, and then I've got
This one.
And then I've got this one, which is my Yehuda voice. You know, I just sound like I want some bagels, I want some smear, I don't even know. L'chaim.
And then I've just got the generic reverb, just a nice light reverb sound. If I really want to get some proximity effect on there to do the radio guy voice, I can say, "Ladies and gentlemen, this week on the Tundra Nation, we've got Scott from Precision Holsters." And then finally, we've got kind of like that megaphone, I don't know, arena voice. And I can go all of these as quickly as I can hit the button. It's pretty sweet. I like it.
I love the Go XLR. I went with the road system because you can power it off of like a battery and record like 4 people.
That's what the boys at Black Diamond just picked up. The Roadcaster.
It's sick, but you don't get the voice effects. You got to do that on a separate system.
Yep. Yeah, the biggest downside to this is it has one input, so I have to like constantly be switching microphones every time I do something else. But anyways,
fucking nerds.
Yeah, right. Yeah, getting away from the audio engineering and sound design stuff and back into gun-related things. One more time, if you guys want to support us financially and feel like we deserve it, I don't know why. Some people do. We don't feel like we've deserved it, but you know, at some point in time, you're gonna donate anyways. So find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Tundra Tactical or direct on PayPal using the email address tyler@tundratactical.com. And normally, you know, I'm a little sad, but I'm gonna cut the guy a break, and I'm not gonna interrupt his streak because Dickie B has donated $50 every week for I think 26 straight weeks. And he didn't donate this week, but I'm cutting him a pass because he is at Kalash Bash right now. Yep. So I'm cutting him a pass. However, we did have one come through, and damn it, I don't have it pulled up. Where's PayPal? Normally, I'm not ready for this, and in true Tundra Nation fashion, I'm not ready for this already. Not ready for this already.
Y'all ready for this?
So this is this noob? Who is this? Oh my gosh. Last name is Bierski. Who is that?
He's got to be a hometown boy.
Yeah, right?
No,
he definitely is not.
Probably.
Shmuel Bierski. Was that noob or was that somebody else?
Maybe it might be. I think
can't remember. Anyways, he drops the 30 bones. Yeah, Shmuel.
What a guy.
Drops the 30 bones direct to the PayPal. So if you want to follow his great example, please go ahead and do so now. With that being said, I think that wraps up housekeeping. It only took us 24 minutes. Let's dive into Hypo's Hot Takes. Hypo, what do you got for us this fine evening, my good friend?
So I watched your video.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I do that occasionally.
It's not like you're contractually obligated to watch it or anything.
No, or critique them and actually fuel that ego of yours. But I watched the video and it made me think about January when we were walking through Lords
Yeah.
of SHOT Show,
Uh-huh.
looking at all of the new, exactly the same
Shiny.
guns that we've seen.
Exactly the same. Yeah, exactly.
And there was some video footage that hasn't been released of you and I walking towards the Glock booth talking about the 72 iterations, the exact same thing.
Was that on the never
on the
actually
360.
done? Yeah.
Yeah.
We endeavored
We got to
to
do something with that.
the first VR walkthrough of SHOT Show this year.
No.
We shot all the footage, we just never did anything with it.
Yep. I think we need to cut that though, because there was a I got to poop in there.
Yep, I think so. But yeah, man, that's kind of what that whole video was supposed to be about. It was, Scott, we were talking about it a little earlier on the show. It was kind of meant to be this like psych out video where we made people think that we were actually going to like do something positive for once, but then it just devolved into us shitting on what everyone thought was the most popular guns of 2020. Like we spent probably 11 minutes Googling things, and then we just took that list that we compiled in 11 minutes and made that video out of it. And thank you, Carnage, by the way. Very, very well done job. For those of you guys who don't know, Carnage in chat is one of the new writer, not one of the new writer for Tundra Tactical, and he was the one responsible for that script. So very, very well done, sir. Golf clap for you.
Very well done. Very well done.
Carnage writes, and he writes it, and I speak. What's the phrase I'm looking for? It's not he speaks with my voice. Yeah, he does speak with my voice, I guess.
His words in your mouth.
There you go. I mean, yeah.
Is he
Your
the
voice.
mouth?
Oh
Oh.
Tyler's the mouth of Tundra.
I'm just the fucking douchebag that shows
Oh,
up on
God.
camera.
I'm just picturing you all as like Nazgul or something, you know?
I was gonna say I'm such a fucking nerd.
The
That's the
nine.
first thing I thought was Lord of the Rings, the mouth. It's just-
Sauron.
but instead of the
oh,
crazy crown, he's got a bald ass head.
hey, let's go a little bit out of the ordinary here, and let's meet Ellis Bowler, our newest $10 a month Patreon subscriber. Thank you very much, Ellis. We very much appreciate that, sir. Normally I don't call out Patreon, but Patreon must have changed their email a little bit because it makes it seem more epic than it actually is. And 5 bones coming in from Joseph Williams on PayPal, direct through PayPal. Joseph Williams, you, sir, are a champion, as well as Mr. Ellis. Thank you very much for your guys' support of the channel. If you guys want to follow their great example, please go ahead and do so now. I'll do my best to call you out. But yeah, so continue on. You were going to make a point.
Yeah, so we noticed pretty easily and quickly that pretty much 90% of everything we saw was just a reiteration of what's been done before.
Rebrand, rebuild.
A lot.
Yeah. So that's, like I said, that's kind of what that video was about. It was kind of a shot at the industry of saying, hey, come on, guys, like we're better than this. Like I get it. Like you can't come up with something brand new every single year. You know, I'm not one of those people that are saying, I mean, I don't want to go so far as to say like the gun industry doesn't have the same budget as the car industry, because I'm pretty sure that it does, or at least very close. Like I don't think it's physically possible for everyone to come up with like a brand new design, you know, some revolutionary thing every single year. But this year,
would you want to?
Well, you know,
I mean, there's a lot of that. I mean, this,
it's a bit of a catch-22. I see where you're going with this because,
but I think that directly correlates with your car industry correlation there. Yeah.
Well, you know, I would almost argue that that's what keeps the car industry interesting, because there's a difference between good and interesting. Okay, and you could almost weight a product based off of individual merits in those two categories alone. You could have you could have something that is desirable and very, very good. I don't know, good example would be my new favorite handgun, the GST-9. Or you could have something that is not the greatest thing in the world, but just really, really interesting. But it's still, so it still holds merit.
You're looking at like, okay, a Lamborghini, interesting, may not actually be good.
Yeah,
If
it doesn't fucking work. But damn, is it cool? Like the technology behind it, like when it does work for that very brief period of time, right?
Or do I go with something more like a Ford Raptor? It's been done.
Sure.
It's a truck, but it's at least something different than a normal truck.
Well, and that's, honestly, it's an interesting point that you make because, with that specific reference, you could call that, like the Glock or the PPQ or, the thing that's been done, the VP9, the new iteration.
Variations on the theme.
Let's be fair. The Glock 22 that came out, the 40 was more like a Yugo.
Yeah, 44, right?
Was it 44?
I think it was 40 something.
We'll just say 40. Yeah, that was more like a Yugo or like Le Car from Paris.
Well, so that's that's one of the guns, honestly, that I feel completely comfortable shitting on all throughout this entire year. I know they've got a lot of the problems figured out now. But
sure, but if you shat on it to begin with, it would explode.
Yeah, exactly.
But who expected Glock to go SIG directions?
Yeah, 100%. That you nailed it. You nailed it. Like, who expected Glock to go out and beta test their gun on their customers? That's what SIG is known for these days. And maybe it's geographical. I don't know. But Glock, one of the most. I'm entering into fanboy territory here, but I would just say reputable companies in terms of QA.
Respected for, at least.
Yeah, respected for their quality. They don't make the most interesting guns in the world by any means, but at least they make a quality firearm. They go out and they release this unfinished piece of just donkey shit that it explodes out of battery in people's hands. And not only does it do this, but it's caught on camera multiple times, and one of the
right off the bat, too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. One of the questions that I think of here is: are the gun industries, like the people who are doing the marketing, the people who are doing the pushing of the product, the people that are rubber stamping this thing and saying it's ready to go, even though it's not ready to go, do they even know what the creator side of the industry is like, do you think? Like, because I mean
at SIG and Glock level, yes, that is a calculated risk.
Okay. So they're
I think no.
I mean, if I'm looking at it strictly from a business perspective, yeah, I can see how they'd say, okay, we're a month from being done, but we're gonna push it out now on the sake of convenience. And then we'll do PR and damage control, and then we'll release the better product a month later, which is almost exactly what they did.
I don't know if that's the calculation. I think it is more like we don't know what 1,000 rounds through a production series is going to look like, or this or that. We know that this is done to our standard. We've done the same thing for all these other guns. This should be good. Let's put it out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the manufacturer.
Right.
No, it's true though.
In the end, because it's like you can do so much testing. It's like I can spend a year, 2 years, 3 years testing, finding all the different little flaws.
Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2.
Or I can throw it out there and go, everything should be fine. We've done the research. And if it's bad, we're only liable for how much money. Okay, we would have spent more on research anyway. So
yeah, I see where you're going with that. Interesting, like, follow-up point to that, and maybe Hypo, you're thinking the same thing right now, is all that time and that effort that those 6 to 10 guys at Glock do for QA and testing, right? If I'm the the thick glasses wearing accountant or whatever, and I gotta say, okay, I gotta pay this guy X amount of dollars, or we can produce X amount of pistols and just let the public do it. I mean,
financially, it's actually more viable, I think.
Yeah. I'm not condoning it by any means.
SIG has proved it. Yeah. I mean, it's not like SIG hasn't been doing that for about a decade now.
So how long until the inevitably like stupidly costly lawsuit comes into play when somebody has an out of battery detonation and their slide comes back and hits them in the forehead or something, or like something crazy happens.
See, and I think that's where their money is spent. Is this extremely dangerous? No. Okay, let's release it, and if there's a bug, we'll fix it.
So there's a calculated risk, you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. It's all calculated. It has to be. I mean, you're talking about multi-million-dollar corporation. Yeah.
If you look, I can't hold them completely accountable for being released poorly, because from a software side, you could have the most rock solid development, but when users get their hands on it,
well,
not predict the unpredictable.
That is the other thing to be said here in specifically in this case, I suppose. I do want to give one quick shout out. Anthony Napoli just comments. He says, "Watching from Minnesota, my man." Another hometown hero here. Right on, brother.
Hey, stop you real quick too. Check Mr. Dickie B's.
Oh, Dickie's in
He
the
popped
house.
on to say hello.
Look at that.
Check
look
the
at that.
PayPal.
Oh, he doesn't even miss it at Kalash Bash.
That's badass, brother.
Dickie B dropping the 50 bones into the super chat. What a guy. Guys, you should be like Dickie B. You should be like Dickie B. That
Be like me.
he is the embodiment of the Tundra Nation. You know what? Hey, fuck it. I was gonna do this later. We're gonna do it now. Dickie B has earned it. And I've got a couple of very quick announcements to make. Number one, we'll talk about Dickie B. Dickie B, dude, you have been a rock solid member. And Hypo, I want you to do this on the stream here. You've been a rock solid member of the Tundra Nation community. And I think it is time that we elevate you to the next level and bring you up to the top moderation spot in the Discord server. So Dickie B, not only thanks for the dough and the cash, but thanks for everything that you do on the server. I am constantly getting compliments based on your interaction with people, and I really appreciate that from a content creator perspective and a brand representative perspective, as weird as that may sound. But dude, you fucking earned it, and we need your help up on that next level. So I'm very happy to welcome Mr. Dickie B into that spot, and to replace Dickie B in the community relations spot. I am elevating officially. We've already done it, but earlier today elevated Mr. Special from the Discord server from user obscurity into moderator genius status. So Special, right. This guy earned it by going above and beyond. Myself personally, I have a guy in the Discord chat that's very near and dear to me, Mr. Wolf out there, and Special, Wolf's a younger dude. He's I think 17 or 18 years old.
Oh wow.
But he's super involved in the community. He's an outstanding guy.
That's awesome.
And he was kind of going through a rough patch a little bit, with stress of school and things like that. We were all in high school. We know what that's like, especially Scott going to the military, you and me going to the military. Sometimes when you get that senior year, you kind of check out and you're just like, fuck this, dude. I know what I'm doing. And Special, went out of his way to go out and help Wolf with a homework assignment. And I was just like, man, that is kind of the definition of what we do here. You come for the shit posting and you stay for the community, and that's the best way I can describe the Discord server. It's a fantastic place to be. So Special, well done. You earned it. And Dickie B, definitely, it's totally not about the money. It's totally about what you've been giving to the community and to myself and to Hypo as well, and of course to Scott too, because he is an active member.
Thank you. Thank you.
Back to what there you go. Back to what we were talking about.
All right.
Yes. See, that's the Scott we know and love. Back to what we were talking about. This year has kind of been the year of what I like to call it is the year of derivative guns.
Very, very. So I think the bigger question about SHOT Show is, what didn't you see?
What happened, right? Like what happened to?
Well, and that's a really big question we were talking about just offline too. Is the year of the AK?
Yeah, man. Like I was so excited for it. Me being, I'm not gonna say like best friends, but pretty close friends with Brandon. And very recently, like Jim Fuller, I've been learning a lot about AKs recently, and I'm not an AK person. I'm not an AK aficionado in any way, shape, or form. I don't even own one. Hypo, you have an IO. It's low on the tier of AKs, but you are above me in the rankings. so one of the things that was supremely interesting to me this year, having gotten to know Brandon over the last couple of years, and getting that kind of crash course in AK-47 and 74. I mean, where do you start? Terminology, nationology, that's not a real word, but
hashtag is now.
Yeah, right. Hashtag vocab. One of my favorite questions to ask Brandon is like, what's the difference? Like, what's the difference between all the nations? What are the identifiers? All this type of stuff, because there's so much more to an AK than the layperson thinks that there is. And that's one of the very interesting things about AKs, and it's one of the things I think that has driven the popularity to the point of kind of the tipping point of this year being that the AK has kind of really taken over. I think as much as we love our ARs, I think that the AK has made some kind of major ground in like the market share in terms of popularity this year. And SHOT Show proved that. Or it kind of proved that. It attempted to prove that to me this year with the AK-20, Century's offering of the American-made AK-74, the PSA offering with the American-made AK-74. This year was supposed to be the AK year, and it never happened. And granted, yes, it's no manufacturer's fault. COVID sucks. It threw a wrench into everything. But what a letdown. Like, it, not because of the manufacturer, but because of social circumstance. Just what a letdown. Like, being a guy that is just ready for me to make that leap into the AK world, learning all about them as best I could, and then nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I think you have a twofold thing going on there, where there's people that have there's a much larger respect for the AK platform. So there's people that are willing to pay more for a good AK system. But the cheap stuff is also now much, doubled up in price. And you have it shows a lot in like the holster stuff, where you have a lot of people that are new. They go, oh, I can get an AK or an AR now. It's not like there's no
who'd have thought
stigma,
right? Who'd have thought
stigma,
that the AK and the AR from a price comparison perspective would be on par? Because that, like,
right,
when I was getting into shooting, and when you two were much older than me, the AK was it was the go-to. It was you bought an SKS and then you bought an AK.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, SKS with 1,000 rounds for $100. That was literally that was your deal. That was the deal you could get nearly in any state in the union. $100 and 1,000 rounds of 7.62 by 39.
Woo!
And usually by the time you got down to about 500 rounds, you'd sell it to your buddy for $100, $100.
You nailed it. That is exactly what I did.
And that was your experience with the AK platform, as we thought back then. Was like, SKS is an AK. What's the difference?
But then you graduated into the big boy.
And then you learn and you start, finding out other things. You get an IO or an IO and immediately sell that, and you go for a Wasser.
Unless you're Hypo, he still has his.
After me, and then I just go ahead and back with Romanian.
But now it's a meme. He can't sell it now because it's a meme in the channel.
And the people that learned a little bit faster than others had the Wasser for. I mean, that was like a 10-year span where the Wasser was desirable.
Yeah, the Wasser was exactly for a while.
Well, and that's the fun fact about my IO is actually imported. It is a Wasser.
Oh,
just
okay. Now
stamped
we're
with the
making
import
excuses.
from IO.
Okay.
Nope,
No,
that's true. Tufu can confirm.
I understand completely.
Fuck you, big boy.
Like,
So
But,
yeah, what happened to these companies that were putting all these
Well,
74s
I
out?
think we know what happened to it. COVID happened.
Well, I mean, we
You know,
do.
the industry came to a grinding halt this year, and it's not. The video this week was less of a shot. It was a shot against the industry, but it was a tongue-in-cheek shot against the.
Sure.
If you guys are new to the channel and you don't realize what we do, everything that we do is tongue-in-cheek. We hate on everything. It doesn't matter the decision that you make. It doesn't matter if you buy the exact same gun that I love. Okay? It doesn't matter if you buy an Airborne Arms, hell yeah, in 224 Valkyrie, one of my favorite guns. It's still dumb. It's the point of the channel is we are the embodiment. We're kind of the vocalization of the critical nature of the 2A community, where it doesn't matter what you do, somebody is gonna hate on you for it, and we're just the front facing vocal portion of that.
I own that same gun. I'm gonna shit on you for it though, because you seem to love it more than I do. So
it's not even that. It's just it's a gun and you bought it.
Yeah.
So you're wrong. Because I mean, like, tell me that the gun industry isn't completely famous for eating its own, like completely famous for shitting all over the people who support it. It's one of the few industries outside of maybe like the computer industry is the only other like the computer parts industry. You know, oh, you have this, oh, you're a fucking noob. It's like, well, you had that at one point too. You know,
it's not even just the guns. It's everything. You know,
everything.
The minute you come out there and tell somebody you should buy my stuff, they're gonna go.
Or you're just
okay. Come on, dude.
The minute you come out and say I'm proud of myself for doing this, someone's gonna say you're fucking dumb. And so we're just the comedic embodiment of that. But yeah. I think that should wrap up Hypo's hot takes. We know what happened to the industry. We know why the video, at least we should know why the video was released now. It was just kind of a comedic jab saying, hey, you know, let's try it again next year, boys. But
give it a shot.
We'll see how that goes. But let's for the last about 15 minutes here, let's dive into a little bit about Mr. Scott from Precision Holsters. Now, Scott has been a guest on the show before, albeit with a lot less facial hair, and a lot more hair a lot more hair on the top, and significantly more intoxicated than he is right now. We'll see how the night goes on. If you guys want to see a hilariously entertaining episode, go back to the Tundra Tactical channel where the Tundra Talk
90 something.
Was it 90 something? Was it that late into it?
I think it was like 94, 95.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I think so.
And go check out Scott's debut performance, specifically towards the end. I remember one of my favorite memories, one of my absolute favorite memories of Scott from Precision Holsters. Like, I knew he was one of us. One of us. He moves his chair back, and you just hear all the beer cans underneath getting knocked over. I was just like, this guy, he's perfect. He's perfect. He's one of us. He is a true industry member. And Scott, we're happy to have you back representing Precision Holsters. And tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and who Precision Holsters is, and what they're about.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you're gonna go with that or the stormtrooper helmet
or that. We could do that. Maybe next time.
we Precision Holsters. What we do, we're a boutique holster maker. We're not making vast quantities of holsters. We're not making cheap stuff out of a garbage. We're kind of in the middle. We're finding ourselves trying to find a quality product that you're going to want. We don't want to be in the box of holsters that everybody has, that they've tried, they didn't like, they tossed it in the box and they forget about it. So we're looking to create high-end products for a decent price, and that's really it. We do a lot to create products that incorporate the fundamentals of shooting in the holster. If you use good fundamentals, you're going to have a good time with this holster. If you're trying to do some middle of the back, some weird, super canted wacko stuff, if you're trying to use a pocket holster or a pocket gun in a inside the waistband holster, you're going to have a hard time.
Talking about prior to the stream.
Yeah, and so our main goal is to provide you with a product that's going to be comfortable all day long, or for a reasonable amount of time that you could be seen using it.
Well, and that's kind of where precision holsters stands out from a lot of the rest, is kind of the longevity of the holster use. I mean,
yes,
you could argue that build quality is somewhat of a lesser valued fact in the holster build community. But when you talk to people,
absolutely.
But when you talk to people who are very passionate about it, like Scott and the rest of the Precision Holsters crew, you learn, it's kind of like how I reference Todd Fossey a lot, where like I didn't see a lot of the value in certain types of trainers and training and things like that until I talked to somebody who's very passionate about the training side of the industry. From a consumer perspective, you just see a lot of the same stuff, kind of like what we were shitting on the industry for earlier. But when you talk to somebody who's very passionate about it, you start to get a little bit of the nuance and a little bit more of that behind the scenes, like the whys behind what happens, I suppose.
I'm reading. I got Carnage for the Empire.
Yeah.
And we've got
you're winning points with him.
Yeah, Tokarev, like Area 51, they can't stop us all. Yeah, no, yeah. And
the Octo T.
Well, I mean, that was the thing is we incorporate a lot. We talk a lot. I mean, this is a thing of passion. We really we spend a lot of our evenings when we're like, okay, we can't make any more holsters today. Let's talk, and we talk guns. It's okay. Where can we find efficiency in our draw process? Where can we find efficiency in our concealment? What is something that somebody's actually going to need and use on a daily basis that's going to count? And you get a lot of stuff that gets popularized. There's hype trains on you got to have a light mounted weapon, or weapon mounted light. You got to have optics. You got to have this and that, and we're not super quick to try and jump on these hype trains. We're right now
kind
we
of a
are
stick with go with what you know type of deal.
It's not just that. It's just let's wait till it proves till there's a
there's a standard, maybe.
I'm trying to think something of arms, procedure of arms,
manual of arms.
Manual of arms. There you go. If there's no manual of arms for something, we're not going to do anything for it. It's and for a lot of things, it's people get confused between the tactical, the duty, the concealed carry, and the competition. And we have definitely set ourselves in the concealed carry arena.
Sure.
Where a lot of people will try and bring in duty style stuff, tactical stuff, and that does not meld always well.
Do you guys make a holster for my Springfield TRP?
No.
No. So I'm thinking that maybe a competitive for my TT33 is probably out then.
No,
I mean, we got the Tundra Nation brand behind us, so nothing's out, right?
Nothing's out. There's enough
of
us.
Oh dear God.
I think well, it's just especially with like lights, people are always asking us. They call us every day. Do you have this gun with this light? And it's like, dude, if I wanted to have our level of quality, because we do everything on tooling. I understand we don't do the garage based Kydex stuff where it's just a press.
The
where they just press that stuff together.
Yeah.
Right. We don't do that. Everything has tooling printed up for it. We cut it out in CNC. We test it. We do all this stuff to make sure it functions properly. And you got one Glock 19 and there's how many lights?
Yeah.
Over 100 probably.
Probably.
Okay, so and I might sell one for each one of those. I can't justify tooling up for that.
Tooling, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
and that's just manufacturing. That's just manufacturing. The background on that. Okay, but what are you really doing with that light? You can't really, if you're gonna say I used my weapon-mounted light to identify somebody, that means you are pointing your gun at them.
There's some legal issues there.
That is not.
And that's too.
You have legal issues. You need to meet 51% preponderance of evidence to pull your gun on somebody as a civilian. It makes sense as a cop. Now that's where we separate duty from concealed carry.
It's an interesting perspective.
If you're going into that, it's like okay, you can get into I can shine my light up above, but you still get your gun out. You may not be pointed at somebody, but you get your gun out. That's brandishing.
Yep, it's brandishing.
So does it make more sense to make a bunch of holsters for different mounted lights, or do we just say maybe a better idea for when you're concealed carrying on a consistent basis is to have your light in the offhand?
Oh, sure.
Probably going to be a better decision in the long run.
That's interesting because that's something that we discussed at length across a couple of different episodes.
And got chastised for.
Well, not even chastised. Like I'll stick behind. I'm a fan of the weapon mounted light. But that's the military side of me coming out.
Yeah. No, and like I said, we run into this a lot between cops and people coming from the military. But when you're dealing with the off the street civilian who just wants a gun in their pants, and
that's the big thing right there is you're subdividing. And you're saying, okay, make this product, or excuse me, help me make a product for you that is as specialized as it possibly can be to give you the best possible experience that you can have, as opposed to a be-all, end-all, do it all arounder, jack of all trades, master of none, use whatever, idiom that you want. Idiom, that's a good word about 6 whiskeys deep.
A good example of doing that
it's the right
poorly
word, but orally
doing the poorly.
Oh, I thought you said orally.
No, I didn't say orally.
I thought so too. No.
And I don't know how familiar Scott is with the Omnivore by Blackhawk. It is a fits all weapon mounted light system.
Yeah.
Like every gun fits it.
Honestly,
it is the scariest thing ever.
Okay, it is, but I'm gonna go anti-Tundra here and say credit where credit's due. They tried something.
It is a good design. It is a good design.
There is one fatal flaw in that design though, because I bought one. I was really curious about this, and I bought one.
Okay.
I had a Glock 34, Glock 19, Glock 17. I used the Canic with the same light across all three, unfortunately, or all four, but every single one of them mounted with the trigger guard open. I could fit my whole fucking finger right in there and go and tickle the wiggly bits.
Yep. So what you're saying, Scott, ultimately is, in regards to, because some people might not understand what you mean by like a boutique holster company. What you guys are is you're an ultra specialized holster company. You're saying we make one product for a specific, well, not one product, but we make a product for a specific purpose. We're not trying to make the best thing out there for all situations. We're trying to make the best thing out there for a specific situation.
Conceal carry. We are not a duty holster. We are not a tactical holster. We have our EDC line and our competitive line, and that is it. And neither one of those are going to work for duty or tactical.
And that's something. It's a hard truth that needs to be said to a lot of people. Is your concealed holster doesn't function for every possible situation, and this might be tough hearing for some people out there saying, oh, well, I just want, I got my Glock that, my Glock 19 that I would argue works for a vast majority of situations, but unfortunately supporting equipment for it doesn't necessarily apply that same logic.
Correct. When you're in your home, it makes sense to have a weapon-mounted light, because if somebody's in your house that you don't know, you've met 51% preponderance of evidence. You can shine a light right in their face, point a gun right at them. It's not going to matter. So but you don't need a holster in that case. So what are you holstering in your pajamas? Sure. No, you're gonna have a gun. You're gonna have, however you decide to do things.
So okay, Scott, I'm gonna stop you there before you get too far into that. I want you to talk to me specifically, and by definition, the rest of the Tundra Nation here, about that 51% preponderance of evidence thing. You were just talking about, it's a fantastic example. I know exactly what you're talking about, but some people might not. So what's the difference between shining a light on somebody in your house versus I'm in a dark alleyway and I see somebody coming up to me? I've got, up here in Minnesota, we have the 4 pillars of self-defense. Most states have something similar.
It is the difference between what would be a law enforcement engagement and a civilian engagement. It's law enforcement, they just need reasonable cause. If you're in a dark alley and a cop walks up to you and they know, hey, a lot of drug deals go down in this alley, it's really dangerous. I don't really need to go beyond reasonable doubt in any way. I just need to think something's going down, and I have the rule of law on my hand. If you're a civilian, you have to meet a lot of you got to have I've drank too many beers.
It's different for every state, but there are certain criteria that you need to meet prior to.
You have to have, you have to have means. Yep. They have to have motive. Yeah, you got to meet all these different criteria, and that gets really shuttled down to what they call 51% preponderance of evidence. I mean, I'm more than likely engaged in a deadly force situation. Mm-hmm. And you got to talk to so the top trainers out there. You got your Masada Ayub, who we talk a lot. He is one of our persons that we train with all the time.
Oh, interesting.
We just had that. Yeah, we just had him up here. He's informed a lot about.
Dude. Yeah, he's awesome.
What I was talking to him the other day.
Wasn't Hypo wasn't Fit and Fire just with him?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Masada Ayub, he uses our holsters. He's one of our
that's an endorsement.
That's his range holster. Is his precision holster, and we get him to tell us, here's why a weapon mounted light isn't important to what your sector is. It's like, we want to do concealed carry holsters. He's like, no need to do weapon mounted lights, really. Because here's why. And we can pass that on to our customers when they say, hey, do you have a weapon mounted light system? We say, no. Here's what are you looking for? Are you a cop? Are you this or that? Because here's why we think you probably don't need a weapon mounted light.
Well, okay, so I think a lot of this misconception about the necessity of a weapon mounted light, from myself included, like I'm completely guilty of this, comes a lot from the active or former military view of how weapon mounted lights are incorporated. We love, in the military, we love weapon mounted lights because they
absolutely
they have
you have to have PID.
Exactly. They have everything that we talk about, in terms of advantage of a weapon mounted light in the civilian market. It has in the military world as well, and that's kind of where we learn.
Yep. And I came from the same direction. Yeah. I had to unlearn these things myself.
Yeah.
Because PID, personal identification, is more important than evidence that they're doing you any harm.
Sure.
Right?
In that particular case, yeah.
In that particular case, right? I'm walking down the streets of Baghdad. I need to get a light on that guy to see what he's doing.
Yeah, because you don't want some Virginia lawyer coming after you.
Right, but he's not gonna. It doesn't matter that I've pointed a weapon at him. I am in a military situation here,
and he's a military-age male. You have, you're just like the cops you're talking about. You have the cause.
Yes, so I can use that as my probable cause to point a weapon at him. As a civilian, I don't have that.
And I think secondarily too, something that's not as necessary in a civilian situation is going to be having that additional hand for administrative tasks during that identification.
It's a great point. Yeah, it's a great point.
As a civilian, I still have to have positive identification. I have to know what I'm shooting at. I need to know what's behind it. Same thing as everything else.
Sure.
But before I can pull a weapon on this person, before I can pose that they have a deadly threat, I can't point a weapon at them. then that's, you know, essentially saying with that weapon mounted light, how did you identify them? With my weapon mounted light? Okay, well, you're pointing a weapon at this person before you knew what they were doing. You know, how did you see they had a gun? I pointed a light at them.
It's a very interesting point, and something honestly that I haven't really considered, because prosecution can hang you out to dry for that.
Completely.
Yeah, and it's a lot of pedantics. I mean,
it is, but that's U.S. law in terms of firearms.
You
pedantics.
Yeah,
as we just saw with Q and the ATF.
Yeah, and you know, every once in a while we will produce a weapon-mounted light system for somebody, but it is, I guarantee,
the one-off.
I think 100% of the time it has been for a cop.
Sure.
Or somebody who was in some kind of FBI or Marshal service.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why we like companies like Precision Holsters or, you know, Todd Fossey and things like that, is because they don't necessarily tell us what we want to hear. Like as a consumer,
right.
as a former military guy, like I want to hear that. It's hilarious that I'm saying this because it's everything that the Tundra Nation shits on, but I want to hear that my decision is justified. I want to hear that the thing that I spent money on is the right thing. Everybody
or the training
does.
that you've put into it is what is right, and it's completely converse to that when it comes from military to civilian.
And you know,
and regardless of that, I still, a weapon-mounted light is just cool, dude. I mean, it looks badass.
Yeah.
It's
100%.
laser beaming that shit out into the sky, and it's like,
it's hypo this
I look
time,
cool.
spilling beer bottles and shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say my WML's working really well for me over here on my desk.
But you know, it's companies like you guys and Todd and other companies like that who speak the truth and kind of tell us what we don't necessarily want to hear, that I really like. I might not always agree with what they have to say,
right?
But I can respect their ability to kind of take the contrary belief, or not the contrary belief, but just be able to speak their mind and tell something contrary to what the masses hear.
Yeah, and I don't think it's necessarily trying to create something contrary to be like, hey, you're wrong. What we're trying to do is establish a common language to be like, look, here's what this is for. If you're not doing
That's a good diplomatic way of putting it.
This might not be for you. And we turn down cops all the time because they're like, hey, I really need a TLR R8 on my SIG whatever. And we're like, yeah, we don't really do that. I'm sorry, you know. And that's usually my first question is if they ask for that, I'm like, are you a cop? And they're like, yeah, most of the time. Mm-hmm. And I go, yeah, we don't make duty holsters. That's not part of our repertoire.
That's good for you guys though, for sticking to that.
Yeah, and you know, we've experimented with duty and tactical type of holsters, and it's not in our wheelhouse. You know, I can say, oh, I was a veteran. I did 8 years infantry or whatever. And it's like I still don't know anything about pistols.
Yeah, right.
So
how does
what I'm hearing
but my M9.
My dream for appendix carry for my IO from you guys is probably right out then. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, there's always, you catch us on the right day, and we've had enough beers.
Beers, and you be like, hey, I got this great idea. If I start saying I got this great idea, run.
That's yeah. We're enthusiasts. We love this stuff, and if we can make a couple bucks off of it, then that's great. But most of it,
that's America right there, baby.
Yeah, most of it is just the experience of talking and exposing certain people to this lifestyle.
What you said right there is the mark of what I would consider to be a good company, is that dialogue between not you speaking to the customer, but that dialogue between the customer is, you guys are going to learn something about the market. They're going to learn something about the equipment available. And that's a supremely beneficial relationship, in my opinion. Something that a lot of companies, I don't really think, take advantage of. They have this whole, a lot of companies, I think, have this holier than thou mentality where they say, this is the product that I offer, take it or leave it.
Yeah. And we don't want that. We don't want that. And I'm happy to recommend people to something that may not be one of our products, but will suit what they need.
Well, that's market integrity.
and a lot of the time you're trying to send them the right way, and I go a lot off of reviews I see on YouTube and this and that, so I might go, well, stay away from these guys, or this isn't going to be what you want either. And a lot of the time you're like, hey, you want a duty holster, go look at Safariland.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's 100% what I would recommend too. Although Hypo might not be able to say the same thing, but
and Carnage is asking Kydex or leather. We don't do anything that is 100% leather. Leather is going to collapse over time. It's going to have some issues with that. So we always do a hybrid, either Kydex and leather, or 100% Kydex.
I would for like the, my advice would be, for the vast majority of the people out there, the hybrid style holster would be the best option for like 95% of the people.
If there was something better, we would make it.
Yeah.
But there's not. The leather and Kydex systems are going to be more secure and more comfortable than anything you can possibly.
It gives you the best of both worlds. Yeah.
Yes,
security
exactly.
And comfort. Yep. All right. So Scott, we've gotten to know you a little bit. We've gotten to know Precision Holsters a little bit. Do us a favor. Tell us a little bit about what, very quickly, like 2 minutes. Tell us a little bit about what you specifically do for Precision Holsters, and then we'll dive into Ask Tundra Nation.
I am one of 4 people that are pretty much full-time employees here.
Oh, so it is boutique.
Well, it's a family run, so everybody kind of, spouses and everybody, they all do their own little job, but the people that actually run the day-to-day, it's 4 people.
Wow.
That's it. And so most of the time it's myself and my father,
good man.
We all, and so I really get to enjoy working with my dad all pretty much every day. And I can be doing anything from making videos, marketing, Facebook stuff, answering emails. If you call on the phone, you're going to talk to me.
Being a degenerate on the Tundra Nation Discord.
Being a degenerate on YouTube or Discord. That's my job. My job.
I have a personal question for you. Did your dad see the first iteration of this chat or no?
Yeah.
What did he say? What did he say to you afterwards?
I do believe his quote was, I started watching it. It was kind of a shit show.
Yes.
To your dad, I say, we could not ask for a higher form of praise, sir.
Yeah, and so my father and I make up the 50% of the company that is veteran.
Oh, right on.
So my father was a veteran. I'm a veteran, and
which wars was he part of?
He was in. He was drafted during the Vietnam War.
Okay.
He did not serve in Vietnam. He went to Germany instead. He was part of the Cold War games, doing Forger and Reforger, if you're familiar with those. He was in the tank taker crew. He was actually one of
position.
I think he was one of 3 people that came out of his boot camp out of Fort Riley, Kansas. He was one of 3 people that did not go directly to infantry training.
Wow.
So he was very lucky.
And then yourself?
Myself, I went directly to infantry training. And I joined in 2004, and because I thought everything was going to be over. I was like, oh, there's no point in joining. It'll all be over before I can get through training and all that.
Did you hit both countries or just one?
Just Iraq.
Just Iraq.
I did. Yeah, I did 18 months in Iraq.
It's a tough deployment.
And so, we were the very first. I do believe we were the first unit of the Surge. If you remember the Surge. Oh yeah. So
before my time, but I know it well.
Yeah, and so it was pretty cool. We got all new stuff. We got the updated up armored Humvees, which is pretty badass because they could actually stop.
VBIDs or IEDs, sorry.
And they had nice armor and everything, and so I did that. And the other half of the company is one of my best friends before I was since about how old was I? Oh, we've been friends for 20 years. And my best John, who's our head designer. He designs pretty much 100% of the holsters himself. I may get to have a suggestion here or there on something, but for the most part, John Marquez. He's a very cool Portuguese. Parents are straight from the Azores.
This is the guy you're talking about. All right.
So he's a first generation
Right
American, and he loves nothing else. He is far more American than I could ever try to be. And if he wasn't so short, he probably would have served in the military himself.
There you go. He would have made a great fighter pilot.
yeah, probably. And he's far more. If you want a breakdown of how to get better at shooting, all you got to do is spend 10 minutes with John, and he's going to.
You should do me a favor and broach the subject of getting him on the show.
I try.
Okay.
He's very shy, and
understandable. We won't push it, but go ahead.
Real quick, Tyler.
Oh,
I want to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Just check your phone, Tyler. I got a future guest from Dickie.
Ah, there we go.
Wait, what?
Future guest on the show. Lined up just now. Sorry to interrupt the stream on that.
Am I reading
No, I'm
that
almost
right?
done.
Yeah. Yep.
What do we got? What do we got?
Wait, what? Hold on.
Can we? What? Huh?
It's VP of a big AK company.
Oh.
So
we got some Phil Strader
wants to
going
do
on
these.
here. What's going on? What's going on?
Yes, please. Make that happen.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Well done, Dickie
Yeah.
B. Well done.
Solid. The email should be on there.
Oh,
So
wow. Yeah,
you
I
guys
saw
will
it.
find out soon enough.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Wow. That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Great point to segue into Ask Tundra Nation. So, Scott, thank you very much for the we'll call it the history. Excuse me. The history of precision holsters. No, it's great. Like I love you guys. I love, I'll be honest, I don't own a precision holsters product, but I love the people who work for them. I've talked to Scott many times, and I feel like I know the family. I feel like I know the family that runs precision holsters, and I love companies that are run like you guys are.
Yeah,
because there's
family run. I mean, it's literally like John's daughter's in here doing stuff from day to day. She does, she's doing homeschool now because of all the COVID stuff, and we got the wives of everybody. They help do our paperwork and all that. And I forgot that our fourth member, Aaron, who is our fourth, and he does all the sewing. He does all the belts and our custom holster backings and all that. So he's an integral part as well.
So the point that I was going to make here is a lot of people, especially like maybe even now in this day and age, with the amount of availability of certain types of companies, either garage holster companies or gun companies or this thing or that thing, the family name, the family run company, it doesn't mean maybe as much to people of a younger generation as it does. And I could be wrong in that, but I'm what am I?
It comes and goes.
What am I? I think I'm 34 now. I think I just turned 34. Not 100% sure on that.
Oh,
Megan, how old am I?
Yeah, right. That's normally what I do, but the baby's sleeping. So.
Yeah, you get murdered.
When I was growing up, I was always taught that the small business, the family run company, that's the one you should support. And I see it ebbing and flowing these days. There's certain days of the week or there's certain times of the year where family run companies is top of the list, especially in our industry. Family run companies is top of the list. That's where you go. That's what you do. That's what you support. But then that new hotness comes out, that appeal to the masses type of thing comes out, which is a lot of what we were talking about in the most recent video. And then that ideal switches to
and that's a big part of what we do is that and like I said, if you call, I'm going to be the one answering the phone, and it's not like it's not I can happily tell you the phone number. It's available on our website and everything. 530-409-9141. And
call him and ask him if he has any 9mm.
I get that call about 10 times a day.
Yep.
At minimum, and it's not an issue of can we beat somebody else's prices. It's what's the relationship you're going to have with this person, because a lot of the people that we get, they're not looking for the absolute perfect product. They're looking for a relationship. And it's like, okay, hey, I have, this holster's not perfect for me. Can you adjust it? And it's like, okay, well, let us know what's going on here. Do you need some trimmed off the top, or do you need this or this or that? Okay, how can we work with you to find what you need? And that's what a family-run business can do. That's what a smaller business can do, where you're not going to get that from Safariland. They're going to say, well, we paid $100,000. Yeah, we paid $100,000 for that one mold. We got to make 20,000 units this month just to pay that off.
Yep.
So we're not changing the shit.
And to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, you're not talking anything bad about Safariland. You're just saying that we serve a different purpose.
That is their that's yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And like I said, I will recommend them to somebody that's like, we want this. Oh, you know what?
That's the mark of a good sales guy right there, is the person who's looking out for you.
Yeah, and I've witnessed that a few times with Scott. He's actively told people, you know what, we don't have that, but maybe look at this or this or this, and you've researched for people, different companies, and
yeah, we are we are enthusiasts. That is what we and so it's like, if we don't have the best of what you are looking for, we'd say, you know what we got will work, but what you really need is this.
Cool.
And for a lot of people, it's not what we do. But if you're looking for somebody that's going to give you a guarantee that, hey, if we send this to you and it's not going to work, we'll take it right back. We don't want to be that holster that's just sitting in the box next to your bedside. Yeah. We want to be the person that say, hey, I've outgrown this. What else do you got? And
you look in the window.
All right, well, guys, I think it's time to move on to Ask Tundra Nation here, and
Opa!
We'll segue that. Well done.
That one didn't break.
It didn't break. Actually, kind of impressive. Hey, Scott, I will say this. I recognize one of them books over your right shoulder, or your left shoulder. There is left shoulder, yeah, left shoulder, right shoulder. Yeah, right. I recognize one of them books right there. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. That's one of my books. Well, not one of my books, but one of the books that I helped fund through my own money and through your own money.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got
the Tundra Nation lives on the Precision Holsters studio wall. Hey, you know what? Okay. Oh, and it's signed too. Look at that. You got one of the pre-order copies.
Oh,
ooh.
The elite.
Ooh, elite. All right, guys, we are going to move into Ask Tundra Nation now. If you are unfamiliar, if it's your first time here, second time here, third time here, and you're not familiar with what Ask Tundra Nation is, it is the segment of the show where you guys, the fans, get to participate in the show by asking questions and getting them answered live on the air. Now, to participate in Ask Tundra Nation, you do need to be a member of the Discord. So look in the side chat here to Operator Tony, and he will be posting links periodically through this segment to where you can join, or as to where you can join the Discord, and then two things. If you're unfamiliar with how Discord works, hop in there and just ask a question to one of our moderators or any one of the members in the channel. Chances are they're going to help you out and they'll point you in the right direction. When you're an old guy like Scott, sometimes the technology, it gets the best of you. Same thing with Hypo, but he's a little bit more used to it now, having been a co-host of the Tundra Nation here. So I'm just kidding. That's his literal career. But yeah, if you guys want to participate, make sure you join the Tundra Nation Discord and post your questions in the Ask Tundra Nation channel of the Discord server. And let's dive right into it. Now, the way we do this, Tundra Nation, is I ask the question and I kind of pose it to all three of us here, or the two of us, if it's just me and Hypo. But everybody gets a chance to answer it. If they don't have an answer to the question, that's totally fine. But Empty-Headed Gamer would like to know, first question of the night, I've recently seen several people say you shouldn't modify your EDC because it'll be more likely to be used against you, essentially, if you're convicted. What are your thoughts? So this is a fantastic question to Scott, because this is something that we were just talking about. So Scott, your thoughts on the modification of an EDC? Let's say he specifically means a weapon mounted light or a red dot. Go ahead.
You have to have justification. Most of the time, what people are talking about isn't like a weapon-mounted light or a red dot. They're usually a lot of the time they're talking about like triggers or your Punisher push plate on the back.
Or my back plate that says "Die, motherfucker, die, motherfucker, die."
Yeah, and sometimes that can be a consideration, and especially if there was no reason to do it.
What was the famous case of the cop?
That was Cash Me Outside.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that, they tried to use, and they did use that against him. But as far as like triggers, okay, you can, let's say if you have malfunctions with your gun, it is very easy to take it to a gunsmith and say, I would like my trigger to be better. I would like my trigger to work functionally more than it is now. And that can be shown in court to say, I improved the reliability of my weapon. That is what I'm doing. Therefore, what I did, because what they're going to do is they're going to say, you did not shoot this person on purpose. It was an accident because of your 1 pound trigger. You attempted to point the weapon at them to discourage them, and you let off a round. That will be the argument of the prosecution. Yep. And you will have to show, well, that's not what I was doing. I did not lower the pounds of my trigger pull. For that, I was installing a more reliable trigger system because I took it to a gunsmith, and the gunsmith who has been trained and that he can show that he improved the reliability of my weapon.
Interesting.
Now, and if you're going with a drop-in system that you installed yourself, this can be harder to prove. And there may be reasons why you may not want to do that. And essentially, a stock Glock trigger, we'll go with that, is sufficient for just about anything most people's needs. So why would you improve it?
Yeah.
So you have to provide justification, and you need basically you need paperwork. You need proof of why you did it. If you have a red dot system, you can show before and after. You can go and shoot at the range, and you can show your accuracy between your iron sights, your stock iron sights, and a red dot system, and show I am more accurate. Therefore, I was less of a danger to other people by going to a red dot system. And so that is essentially they're dissuading people from modifying their weapons for the purpose of being cool. You need to do this purposefully and intentionally, and you need to have evidence beforehand of why you did it.
Yeah. Well, and there's a part of that I agree with, and there's a part of that wants, like, there's a part of me that is, subscribing to the let's just make it cool as shit,
Yeah.
Factor. Hypo, what are your thoughts on it, buddy?
I'm like somewhere in between. I think with you, I want to make my guns mine. At the same time, I don't really mess with my EDC too much, simply for the fact that I know how my work turns out, so I don't want any failures or malfunctions due to any additional parts. But also with what Scott was saying, aftermarket parts can provide a massive benefit for things in terms of accuracy, with trigger pull weight or red dots, all sorts of silly things. I think the biggest legal issue comes into when it appears as there's some sort of intent to use it.
Yep. And that's
consistent.
In my opinion,
Cash Me Outside.
Yep.
Dust cover. Yeah.
Yep.
And that is the harder one to defend. It is defendable. It is hard for the prosecution to show I did this because I'm excited to shoot somebody, but it will be used. It will be used against you. It's not a likely thing to convict you. If it was a good shoot, it's a good shoot. There's not much they can do about that. But it will be.
But if it's on the bubble, that's definitely something that
yes,
that could be concerning. So
yes, and depending on which area you live in, it can be more of an issue than not.
100%. So I think maybe the ultimate advice here, which is strange because Tundra Tactical is now giving self-defense advice, would be to understand why you're doing what you're doing.
Yes.
For the purpose, the end result.
Yes.
You know, if
you have to show intent. Why
if you're dropping that red
this.
dot on there, if you're putting that you know, brake on your carry gun or that compensator on your carry gun, understand why you're doing it and have a plan for
and
how
be
to
able to
defend
articulate that.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
That is the key issue is articulation. Can I articulate? Can I show why I did it?
Yes.
And that is the one and only issue to that.
The next question comes from Marky Mark, good old buddy, and he asks a very poignant question for the three of us this evening, considering who we are, what we do, and what our history is in terms of the imbibement of alcohol. What is, Scott? What is the best and worst drunken purchase you have made? Please don't say blow up doll. Please don't say actually no, go ahead and
no but not
too far off.
Not too far off.
Okay, all right.
I do believe I once spent just barely shy of $3,000 with a night with a couple of strippers. I think, yeah. Don't regret it. Don't regret a dime. It was great.
No regrets.
It was great. No regrets.
No regrets. No regrets. What's the best drunken purchase that you made, if you can recall? I'm trying to think. I think I've got the worst.
I think I bought close to
$3,000 worth of strippers.
Yeah, well, that's it might be one and the same. I think it could. Yeah, no regrets.
No regrets.
No, I think I ordered about 5,000 rounds of 5.56.
That's not. Yeah, that's outstanding. Especially nowadays, that's outstanding.
Yeah. No, I still have some. I still got some. Yeah.
Like 3 or 4.
Jelly. Hypo, your worst purchase that you've made while drunk.
I'm trying to think about my best one. The worst one's really easy. I was at a bar shortly after I had been through my first divorce, and the bartender had my credit card open on a tab, and I decided that everybody there was getting drinks on me, and there was close to about 400 people there, and that bill it racked up quick.
Yeah, I had a similar one. My cousin, her fiance at the time, did the same thing, but the bartender mixed up the cards, so I got charged for about I think it was about $3,000 worth of booze. It's okay. He paid me back for it. It was fine, but.
Oh man,
that was purchase. A bad day.
Yeah, Hypo, your best purchase while drunk.
I think the TT33.
Yeah, you think so? Right on.
Yeah, I was having a few that night.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. If I had to answer this question, because most nights I am drunk, and most nights is when I purchase things. My worst purchase is arguably going to be my most recent purchase, which I will say I love it, but I realize I didn't need it, which would be my brand new hands-on throttle and stick here, my HOTAS system.
Ooh, it's got blue LEDs.
Yes.
Okay,
it is
I've got a couple
sexy.
of those.
It's extremely sexy, yes, but I paid about 90% more than what the market value is.
Ooh, that does hurt. That hurts more.
Because you can't find them anywhere. You can't. You know, they're completely sold out. So I paid $400 for an X56 that retails for about $250.
Yeah.
And that's
pretty nice. I mean, it's comparative to the Thrustmaster, though. I would say it was a good deal.
Yeah.
The Thrustmaster's right around that price point. I've got an X52 and I paid about $250 for it.
So
Mario.
that is my worst. What would Mario say?
Mario mechanics throwing up the dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Oh no, he said. I'm sorry. He said dollar bills. You all. No, that failed. Never mind. I take it back. You got to rewrite that, brother.
Isn't he from Florida too? I thought he was from Florida. I thought Mario
Yeah,
was from
Florida. Dude, Florida has the most.
Well, they're all, this time of the year they're all snowbirds. So.
Yeah, Florida has the
off.
highest percentage of bad strippers.
You think?
Yeah.
Where does South Carolina rank on that?
Oh no, yeah, no. South Carolina is included in that. They're not even separate. That's Georgia. On the other hand, you get towards Atlanta.
Really, because Atlanta. See, I
You'd
apologize.
You would think.
I apologize if anyone's from Atlanta here, but Atlanta to me is the Chicago of the South. So.
No, you're not wrong. But it's surprisingly.
So the stripper community. So what you're telling me is, if I ever have to go to Atlanta for an industry event, I just tell Megan that I'm going to New York.
Smyrna.
Okay.
Glock headquarters. Okay. Yeah, wherever Glock goes to, that's where you want to head to.
Oh, I know this already. Trust me.
Tyler, she's in chat.
Yeah, I know she is. That's why I'm saying it. She knows me well enough to know that she's mine and I am hers, and there's nothing that's gonna stop that.
Just figure out wherever Glock's going. That's the place to be.
Oh yes, no touching.
Yeah, no. As far as strippers go, it's hit and miss. Actually, California, by far.
All right, fair enough. We'll give it to you.
Yeah.
We'll give it to you. All right. So
stripper talk concludes.
For me, the worst. So the worst purchase I ever made, I honestly think, is that X56. Even though I love it to death, like I've been playing Star Wars Squadrons and Elite Dangerous nonstop. Can't wait to break out, reinstall get my Connie out in Star Citizen, and check it out with the X56. But the best purchase that I've made while drunk, that is a tough one, because just like my worst purchase, most nights when I'm buying things, I am already intoxicated.
Mm-hmm.
It's way hard.
It's way harder than worse.
It is. So I'm trying to think of things recently, because like this is the first time in my entire life where I've had disposable income. Like this is like, I'm 34 years old. I've always lived paycheck to paycheck, and thanks to the generosity of the Tundra Nation and sponsors and things like that, this is the first time that I have had disposable income. I'm gonna go honestly very cheeseball on this. I'm gonna go, you guys, this is gonna go down in history maybe as the cheesiest moment in Tundra Tactical.
I'm waiting.
Okay.
I've dropped some doozies, so.
Oh, I think I've got it beat. My wife's wedding ring.
Oh.
Aww.
I was.
Nah, that's good. That's good.
I need to change my answer.
It took me. So Megan has she's never heard the story. She's going to hear the story by proxy in the other room. So I went to the jeweler at Mall of America. Specifically at Mall of America, because I knew they had restaurants and bars there.
Mm-hmm.
And I had about 9 drinks before I summoned the courage to go down to the jeweler and buy the engagement ring. Not wedding ring, excuse me. Not the wedding band, but the engagement ring.
Yeah.
And,
that's the worst. That hurts more. Yeah.
And from that point forward, it was a train wreck. I don't know if I've ever told you the story, Scott, but to get into the personal side of Tundra Tactical, myself specifically, I'm a bit of an old-fashioned kind of guy. You know, I think a lot of us are. I think a lot of us dudes in the gun industry are a little bit old-fashioned, where in terms of, you know, when you do the bit, right, you know, to ask the lady to marry you, You want it to be something special. You don't want it to be just some generic, hey, take her out to dinner.
Okay, but did you ask her father's permission beforehand?
I actually did. Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
Fucking
I absolutely
awesome.
did. And mother's permission.
Oh wow.
Yes, which I very generously received. So the story behind me proposing to Megan is actually one of my favorite stories to tell because it's kind of a badass story. So we went down, the original proposal was supposed to happen 6 months prior to when it did, and Megan actually kind of found out about it.
Oh.
And that's where this like whole old-fashioned thing comes from, is like I was super upset because I wanted it to be this big reveal, this big surprise.
Yeah,
of
course.
And so I called the whole thing off. Like I had plans in place, I had people in place, I had photographers, things like that, like ready to go.
Oh.
And I said, done, next. And so I decided to wing it from that point forward. Now, Megan, one of my favorite things about her is she introduced me to the Disney parks in Florida. And our first time down there, I was not expecting to have any form of fun because I'm a dude, right? And it's Disney.
Yeah.
And I went there for the first time ever, and my jaw didn't leave the floor for 7 days. Like it was just so much fun, and I had such a blast. And so that's like really what Megan and I bonded over. So we had gone to Disney once. We decided in October to go back again to go to Disney, and then more specifically for me to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios. And that was the cover story. Yeah. That was the cover story. So she thought we were going down there for my birthday. And the lady I married, okay, we get down to Orlando. Okay, our rental car was my birthday present. It was a brand new 19 miles on it Camaro SS drop top. Okay, fantastic. So much fun. You know, driving around Florida and that thing, fantastic. Anyways, so we go, you know, we do the bit, and the final part where I was planning on proposing was in Key West. We had 4 days or 3 days in Key West. So we were hitting the Keys throughout the course here. Well, this is right around the time Hurricane Michael hit.
And
so while we're at Halloween Horror Nights, we're getting like the warning for Hurricane Michael saying, this shit's coming north and you motherfuckers are going south. Okay. And we're staying at a family member's house, her Aunt Kathy's house, one of my favorite people in the entire world, by the way. Kathy, if you ever watch this, I love you. And Kathy's like, don't do it. Don't fucking do it. Don't fucking do it. I'm looking at Kathy. I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. You don't know what's on the line. You don't know what's on the line.
I have to do this.
So when we hit the road, man, we hauled it. We had the car to do it. We hauled it. And I played chicken with a fucking hurricane to propose to my wife. And we did.
Good story.
We went down to Key West. Rained all of about 2 minutes. That was it.
Fuck.
Hurricane completely missed Key West. Hit all the
other
other
keys. That is so badass, dude.
Hit all the other keys. Didn't hit Key West. And we saw 4 nights of beautiful sunsets and had a wonderfully good time. And on the very last day, of course, knowing me, I waited till the very last second. Very last night, had a lobster dinner, seafood dinner, and proposed to my wife. So I played chicken with a hurricane to propose to the lady. Let's move on to the next question.
This is a real big one.
This one comes from.
You want to skip down to the next one?
To the next one?
That
okay,
one's
the one you have
humongous.
Highlighted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mario Mechanic Molina. Mario, good buddy. He wants to know, can you guys possibly make a video on why you should rack the freaking slide of a pistol and not use the slide stop? This way I can reference it to morons who use it as a release. By all means, add your twist on this. P.S. Don't forget to Jaeger it. Scott, do you get that reference?
Yeah, I know who James Yeager is.
Yes,
and
there's an outsider.
Does sound familiar. Yeah, I'm not gonna recall it exactly.
So
but,
our
you
good
know.
buddies over at Black Diamond Guns and Gear, the thing that put them on the map to me was a comedy video that Big Josh did.
Okay, parody, yeah.
Where where he was like boxing with like, you know, Bob the Dummy.
Yeah.
And like doing like
Bob
airsoft.
XL,
yeah,
brother.
exactly.
Yeah.
And part of it was just him like with his gun in the air, because that's what Jaeger teaches, is gun like next to your cheek in the air, like, you know, spinning around, and not literally, but you know, comically spinning around in circles, and he's just going Jaeger it, Jaeger it, Jaeger it. So we decided, because like that,
Okay, I do remember this. Yes,
Yep.
yeah.
That video had such an influence on the Tundra channel, Black Diamond Guns and Gear, said it a million times, that we decided to kind of pay homage to that in our What It's Like to Work at a Gun Shop video, where my literally enormous buddy Volk, aka Rome, decided to do the same thing, and just pay a little bit of homage to that. But so he says, can you guys possibly make a video on why you should rack the slide as opposed? So his question is, why should you rack the slide as opposed to using the slide stop, or the you know, some people call it the slide release? Scott, what do you think?
I don't have a big opinion on this, other than you need to know your weapon system.
Oh, 100%.
If the slide if the slide release works for you, it works for you.
Yeah,
If
you
you're
can't
having
argue
if you're
with that.
having if you're having trouble with it, maybe, you know, a manual you know, racking needs to be done. I don't have a big opinion on it.
Fair enough.
It's not I don't think it's a general rule that needs to be applied to everything. I think it is
I'm a little
specific.
I will say this. I'll tease it a little bit. I'm a little bit different than you. I think the opposite of you. But Hypo, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I have a little bit more of a concrete opinion on this. I believe that you need to have a simpler, like as simple as possible, instructions, I guess.
Oh,
yeah,
things are happening.
I agree with that. I think if you develop a system, it should apply to everything, and that's the better way to go.
I think that, having one thing to do most is the better way to go with it. So I subscribe to the fact, you know, tap, rack, and roll for almost everything, you know, malfunctions, slide lock, whatever. But I will say that there, you know, are people that may not be able to do that. You need to train to be able to utilize that as well, in the event that you can't use your other hand so well to slide it back.
This is
regardless
one
of
of those
what you do,
things-
I think.
This is one of those things that is very contrary to the Tundra brand, where we shit on everything. But it's I think what you're essentially saying in so many words is, you do you.
You do you, and do it well.
Yeah. Like, do
Whatever
it to the
you
best of
decide
your
to do,
ability.
100%.
practice it and train it.
Yeah. So for me, to me it seems like an obvious choice. The slide rack, you know, racking a slide is significantly more efficient than a slide lock. Now, based off of what the two of you guys just said, I can't discount somebody who's a professional or who's trained to the point where they can run the slide lock efficiently. You can't argue with results, right?
Yes.
So,
sure.
What I will say is, for the average person, the top of that slide is a significantly larger target under stress than a tiny little button.
And that tiny little...
Yes.
No matter how much you train, no matter how proficient you are.
Yeah, I think the main thing here is context.
Sure.
Are we talking about if I'm just loading it? I'm just getting the gun ready?
I think with Mario...
Is part of my thing a press check, or, you know? Yeah.
Sure. I think with Mario and a lot of his previous questions, he's kind of thinking of it in more of a real world situation, like a reload mid gun fight, admin tactical, you know.
Yeah, you just dump that whole mag and you just did it.
So
most of the time, if you're talking about malfunctions, it's dump the mag, tap rack, all that, you know, whatever you got to do. That's part of your training regimen. That's going to make sense.
Yeah. So, like, in reality, regardless of what anyone says, do what works best for you. what you've trained the most on.
Yes.
Regardless of the Tundra tacticals of the world and how much we shit on your decision for being wrong, you have to understand that you literally can't argue with results. Like, there is nobody out there like person X can say this thing to person Y all day long, but when person X outshoots person Y in a course of fire, regardless of the situation, based off of whatever they're testing, you can't really argue with those results. Now, those results are not directly transferable to real life in a training environment, but they are circumstantially, I suppose, like in certain cases, transferable to real life. And generally speaking, the person who has the greater amount of training in that specific discipline will have the better result. That was Can I?
I think go. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Can I just compliment myself on the articulation?
Yeah. How deep are you into that bottle? You did a really good job.
So this bottle was full this morning. That's a handle. That's a 2 liter. That's about a liter of whiskey.
There you go. No, I think that you said it just right. Potential results.
Potential results.
Sure, I may do better if I do a tap rack in this situation, but if I don't train for it, maybe the way I had trained for it is better because I have trained for it. So it's always individual results. It's going to be like, okay, potentially I could do better, but if I haven't practiced it, it's not a great idea to try and do that in the middle of a stressful situation.
Well, and that's the big thing is, like, stress is the major factor that a lot of shooters do not consider. They consider the mechanics, they consider the physical side, the tap rack bang stuff, the malfunction clearing. They consider every conceivable factor of that engagement outside of the stress.
Exactly.
Now that might not be indicative of #vocab of some of the people watching here today, but for a vast majority of the shooters in the community, I mean, if you've worked in the
and that's
industry,
what you have to speak to. That's what you have to speak to, is like, I'm not speaking to the people that have taken the time to figure this out, because they have taken the time to figure it out. So I don't need to explain this to you. I need to sit there and worry about the guy who's saying, I don't have any clue what to do if a guy points a gun at me. And you go, okay, here's the steps you need to take. You need this training, you need this training, you need this training. And whatever that training is, regardless of how good it is, I don't need to discourage you from it until you're ready to dedicate just as much time as you had for what was wrong to maybe what I think is right.
Yep.
And if you don't have that, then I don't really need to discourage you from what I think is wrong.
Yeah. Exactly.
You have a system. Whatever your system is probably better than the idea of what I think is right.
And that's a fantastic way of putting it. Is that's kind of the definition of Tundra is what we're making fun of. Is we're making fun of the system, or we're making fun of the theoretical. The people who are theory crafting all of these engagements.
Even when it's right, it's funny. It's like, you get your range theatrics. It's like, I probably should every time I freaking drop a magazine, but it's like, you see somebody do it at the range, it's still freaking funny.
It is.
Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What are you doing there?
Come on.
Scanning and assessing.
Search and assess. Right.
Some guy goes out there and he, has a singular engagement. It's
as a range safety officer for many years, I never did, but I always wanted to ask, how many times did you, sir, watch the Magpul Dynamics DVDs?
Oh, yeah, that is a good question to ask of anybody.
It could mean one or two things. It could mean they either really take it seriously or they're just fucking simps for the industry.
No, I run into those guys. I work with some of those guys. You run into those guys a lot, and it's just like, well,
is that Are you talking about your Portuguese buddy?
No,
I'm kidding. I'm just giving him shit.
Actually, he actually, I think should be a a world-renowned trainer in his own right, but he's too damn shy. But I work with these people, and it's like, well, so and so says that this is the way to do it, so we need your holsters to meet this and this and this, and it's like, okay, our holsters do meet this, and this. You just don't see it the same way I do.
Our next, I'm going to cut you off and move on to the next question here.
I'm done.
Our next question is this is a serious one. Okay, this is a serious one. Now, Hypo, you and I are going to be able to talk to or speak to this here. You do not have to answer this, Scott, but are you hitched up? Do you get a ring on your finger?
Oh yeah, I didn't know that was going directly to me. I thought we were going Hypo then me.
No, that's to Scott. That's to Scott. You got one on the finger there? Oh, he's free. He's ladies and gentlemen, or well, I guess ladies and gentlemen, depends on which way you roll.
And everything in between. 2020.
Right? He is free. He would like to know, or excuse me, Molan, our good buddy Molan, would like to know, Tyler, I want to watch the show, but I have a date with the wife. First time in a long ass time. How pissed would she be if I watched the show during our date? He says, I'm thinking I'm going to watch it. What's the over-under on murder? It depends on how entertaining she finds mostly Hypo, and by secondary proxy myself. And then if this was actually asked in time tonight, the glorious and wonderful and very single Scott.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna Opa this bottle. If it breaks, murder. If not,
oh God,
you're safe. So
leaving it to fate.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Let me find it.
Nope.
All right, ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. That broke.
It broke.
It's murder, bud. It's murder. Watch out.
Man.
Watch out.
I immediately had to go for safety's sake and look to see the last time the Mullen had posted in chat to make sure that he was okay.
Right. This is Mullen right now.
Hell no. To the no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think you have your answer, sir. React.
Grand consensus is that's a bad idea.
React
leaving it up to chance. That's the point.
React would like to know, as we come to closing out the show here, we're going to move through some of these questions a little quicker. React would like to know, society falls into chaos, and you could only choose 4 people to team up with because a tank seats 5. For the survival of your family, who would be your team? So, this is an interesting question. I want to answer first because I have a caveat to this statement, but I'm actually going to post it to Hypo.
I also have a caveat to this statement.
Not a caveat, but like a
It's situational.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
I think yours may be similar to mine. There's a distance and logistics issue for answering one direction versus the other. So shit goes downhill right now, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's the easier way. The opposite direction would absolutely be led with a question: is can a baby fit in the tank and not take up a seat?
We're thinking the same thing.
Yeah. So right now, oh man, I'm gonna probably at this moment scoop up my brother and
old BW,
old B Dub and his lady.
All right,
my wife.
All right,
our tiny little dog and his tiny little son.
There you go. That's a solid combo. You got your IO defending the family.
Yeah. with that AIWB holster.
right.
With the WML on it, so we're good.
So Scott, if you could pick any 4 people, because a tank fits 5, so this is assuming that you have a tank available to yourselves, for maybe like a shelter, type of mobile bunker. If you could pick 4 people, who would you pick?
Oh.
It's a tough call.
It's a little bit easier almost to pick like who wouldn't be in it, but
that means you got good friends then.
No, yeah, and it's all. I have a couple of people, a couple of good friends. I'm like, okay, pirate. Yeah, he's in.
All right.
Asshole. Okay, he's in.
All right.
But I think
Pirate
if I had to go
asshole.
with the ultimate choice, it would probably by my old fire team from my military days.
There you go. Go with what you know, right?
I've trusted my life with them, and
you got
they
out
know
alive.
how to support. Yeah, so that would be who I'd have to choose. It wouldn't be necessarily who I'd want to choose.
Fair enough. That's a good way of putting it. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the assumption that same assumption that Hypo made is that the baby doesn't take up a seat in the tank.
Right.
So Megan and the baby are number one. Interestingly enough, my second person that I would choose to help protect myself and my family would be the one, the only, the venerable and beautiful Hypoluxia himself.
Oh.
Number 3 would be State Farm Jake.
Yeah.
My
may
good buddy.
take up.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And the guy who would definitely take up more than one seat, Volk.
Yeah. It's a full tank, man.
Volk actually requires a separate armored vehicle. He's I don't know exactly how big he is, but he's north of 300 pounds and he's about 6'8", 6'9". He's a
feel
big
like-
boy.
Big boy.
Yeah, we need to get him like an ATST or something.
Right? He is in ATST.
I could see him
What
in one
are
of
you
those.
talking about? he's walking around going the worst ATST impression ever of all time.
It was best. I loved it.
But it was, it
solid.
got the
Good
point
job.
across. All right. So the next question comes from, this is a new name that I have not heard in quite some time. Or no, not in quite some time. I don't think ever. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hypo. But Pistol Pete.
That's new.
Pistol Pete wants to know, what is your recommendation for a good EDC holster for appendix carry? I'll be carrying a Glock 19X. Well, I think it's too easy to give this one to Scott first, so I will give this to Hypo and see where he goes. Your one requirement is you can't say precision holsters, because that's what Scott is going to say.
Oh man, there's so many holster companies though, and I only know a few.
No,
and
I want to make it. I want to make it easy. I got to take a piss, so you guys talk, and I'll be
fair
right back.
enough.
Dudes at home.
Fair enough. Oh God, I don't know. I mean, We the People makes decent stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, I would
T-Rex Arms
probably.
makes great stuff.
It really depends on his body type. I hate to cheese out on that, but it depends on his body type and what situation he's going to be in too.
Mm-hmm.
Like some appendix holsters feel really good, but they print a little bit more.
Yeah, okay. I would actually argue that most appendix holsters, based on your body type, don't print as much.
Well, shouldn't, but
shouldn't.
Also, I guess where he lives,
mm-hmm.
clothing wise, is going to be a determination too.
Well, I think so. I think, in essence, what you're saying is it's not as simple of a question as just saying
it's not.
What holster works best, like what company works best. There's a lot of consideration that goes into, just like with buying a firearm. Pistol Pete, there's a lot of consideration that goes into purchasing the supporting equipment for said firearm, specifically when it comes to a carry gun like a 19X or pick your gun. It's at the bare minimum, it boils down to geographical location, because that determines what clothing you're going to wear. If it's the middle of winter up here in Minnesota, I can carry anything. I could carry a fucking 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum and conceal that thing just fucking fine.
Sure, because you got
problem.
like 5 parkas on.
Yeah, exactly. There's no problem. When it's 40 below zero, I could conceal an AR-15, a full-size AR-15 just fine, because I've got 5 parkas on, and we're ready to play. But if you're in the middle of the desert, the Mojave Desert in Nevada in the summertime, you got a lot less to work with, so to speak.
Sure.
So now
sure. I mean,
now you're looking at something that is very much more specific to the task. So depending on the type of gun that you're carrying, and he does specifically say appendix carry, depending on the type of gun that you're carrying, and with appendix carry, if you guys don't know, in my opinion, excuse me, Scotch belch, appendix carry offers you a lot more flexibility because the front of your body is hiding the printing of that firearm. So the longer grips, the full-size guns, the things like that, well, it gives you a lot more flexibility in terms of good concealment. Even if you're a bigger or smaller guy, it just offers you more flexibility. It might not be the world's most comfortable thing if you're a bigger dude or gal, but a vast majority of your time carrying your firearm, you're probably going to be standing up as opposed to sitting down. Scott, feel free to chime in based on.
I'll wait till you're done. I'll wait till you're done.
But I would just say it's not that simple of an answer. There is no perfect option out there. There's always something that is going to be situationally better than the other thing. And
I think that the box of holsters that Scott was talking about is not just a meme. That's not a joke.
It's a
you
thing.
legitimately go through a lot till you find what is good for you.
And the unfortunate thing is, unless you work in the industry or work at a gun shop that has access to a lot of holsters or things like that, work at a gun shop that does training courses, one of the best things that ever happened to me in my career through firearms is working at a gun shop called Stock and Barrel. A lot of you guys know me from that time. And I did, I got my NRA certification, and I started training to teach courses, specifically close quarters combat classes or close quarters defense classes. And a lot of what we did in those classes is drawing from an appendix style holster. And I learned a lot from that, kind of becoming of the opinion of, not every holster is really created equal. It just really isn't. And this isn't like a plug to precision holsters or anything, but there is something to be said about those specialty style holsters that are designed for a singular purpose or a singular position or a singular type of carry, as opposed to the do-it-all style holsters. So what my recommendation would be for you, and once again his question is, what is your recommendation for a good EDC holster for appendix carry specifically? I'll be carrying a 19X. I would say do your research and find the best available option for your specific set of needs. Do not go with a generic brand that does it all. Understand that what you're asking that gun to do in the event that you need it is to save your life, and to save
absolutely
hopefully the life of yourself, your loved ones, or people that are important, or even depending on state regulations, people around you that you might not be immediately attached to, but you feel the need to defend. So the implication of that specific piece of equipment, we think so much about the gun and how the gun is going to perform in that that particular scenario, but we don't always think about the supporting equipment.
Yep.
And the importance of that supporting equipment, specifically the holster, which is like arguably the most important piece of the supporting equipment of the gun. The amount of time that you took to decide what gun you should get should be the same amount of time that you take to look at your holster, or to look at the integral and very specific and very important pieces of supporting equipment for that gun. But Scott, I'll let you take it away and render your opinion.
Okay, I can keep it pretty darn quick. Is exactly what you said. Is as much thought as you put into deciding what kind of weapon system you wanted to carry. You need to put that into your holster, and just as importantly, into your belt. A lot of people ignore your belt as an integral part of your holster system because as good as your belt is can make the difference between how good your holster functions. Now I can show a little bit. This is our appendix holster. And as you can see, we haven't gone with what they, pretty much industry standard on appendix holsters has been the utility clip, which is a single clip. Mm-hmm. And what that's not going to do is it's not going to stabilize the weapon in any position. So your gun can do this all day long. We have always decided that 2 clips have been better than the one single utility clip, and that's just for stability. Period. Now, as far and also in our clips is that we have this retention little edge on here, and that is for retention. Because the best part about why you might want to carry appendix is it is one because fundamental. Back to fundamentals. A distance is time, right? The further you have to reach for your gun, the longer it's going to take you to do it. The fastest place to have it is in the appendix position. Okay. So it is number 1, faster to pull from the appendix position. It is number 2, easier to defend. You are far more likely to go into a hand-to-hand situation than you ever are to actually pull a gun and shoot. So I need to decide that if I'm going to carry, I need to know how to defend against somebody else taking the gun away from me.
That's our kind of roaming into the expertise of the other guy that I reference a lot on the show is our good buddy Todd Fossey.
Right. So that is another part of why we do not consider our holsters easy to get on, easy to get off. They are not difficult to get on, but they are hard to get off. Unlike, kind
of like my ex-wife.
Yeah. Okay. I was going that way. And so that is, like we said, we design our holsters with fundamentals in mind. That is a big part of it. We had to make sure it did those 2 things first. It needed stability. That's why we have 2 clips to keep it upright in the same position as always. Then you get into what makes our holster better. Our holsters are smaller because what a lot of holsters don't do is they do not dig when you're in the appendix position. A lot of the time what you're dealing with is a printing issue with that grip sticking out.
Yep.
So what a lot of people do is they add on the claw, right? You have the claw. A lot of holsters have it, especially the appendix ones, and that's to dig this side in. Well, we've formed that angle into our holsters, so it's going to do that automatically. Right? You can see if you're looking at that, this holster does not align where the gun sits, does not align exactly with where the belt does. Huh. So when I
honestly didn't know that at all.
Yeah. So when you have this guy, let's see if I can. I'm not going to be tall enough to get across my belt.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just don't show your dick on camera. Okay.
I've got pants on. Jeez.
Are you sure?
Today. But essentially, okay. So it's gonna pull it in this way. Now, what we have here is, if you can possibly see at all, this ledge. It's at an angle to the front, right? So when you have a proper belt on, it's going to push the gun into you this way as well. So you have 2 different angles going on here. We call this our negative angle platform. It is actually patented. And so essentially your gun's going to be pushed into your body. So that is going to eliminate printing issues. And we have it all scalped out like a normal holster would, so you can get proper purchase on that grip when you need it. There's plenty of different people that can show you, especially Mike Seeklander, who, as a world champion IDPA shooter, this is the holster that he shoots, that he uses day to day to carry with. And
speaking of world champions, in terms of their specific skills and the value that they bring to the table, I wanna reference something that you just did.
Okay.
So you're about 2.5, maybe 3 sheets to the wind right now. You know, you're doing all right. You're doing all right, right? Yet you still had the presence of mind to do the epic butt stick out lean when you were sitting down there to get onto the microphone. That right there, that's the
skills
thing
right
that
there.
stands out. That's the thing. You know, so what I wanted to say after that piece about precision holsters is it should be noted, I don't own a single one of your products. And
we got to change that, by the way.
I'm working on it, you know, as funds allow. But I do not own, and we're not like officially endorsed by Precision Holsters. It's just like we just really like Scott. Like Scott's just a good fucking dude.
You know what I just noticed too, just speaking of endorsements, is I just noticed the Tundra Tactical sticker directly below.
Oh my god, I just did too. Holy
That is
shit.
a hell of an endorsement. I fucking love
Look at that, boys. Look at that. Wow, I can't believe it took us that long. That is out freaking standing. Hey, let's give credit where credit's due to our good buddy operator Tony for printing those stickers.
It was perfect sticker. It was amazing, easy to apply. Stuck, you know. Yeah,
if you guys want one of those, I do not take a cent of profit from that. It all goes to my buddy operator Tony. He put the work into to designing and printing those stickers. So hop on the Discord and use the tag operator Tony.
He undercharges. They're fantastic.
Yeah, they're fantastic. But
it's not a puff piece. Absolutely not.
It's like we like you specifically. Like
that's what we try and sell. We don't try and sell a product. We're trying to sell.
I don't know
what we're talking about.
I don't know if this gets you in trouble or not, but like I don't like necessarily precision holsters. I do, but like the reason I like precision holsters is because I like Scott.
Yeah.
And that's I think the ultimate point that you're trying to make is,
right.
You're talking about when you call me or when you call us, I'm the guy that's picking up the phone. When you call me, when you interface with somebody directly at the company, you're interfacing with not just some generic dude or gal. You're interfacing with the person who is actively involved in building, designing, or creating that holster.
Right.
Regardless of the secondary position that they're filling in, answering the phone, making the video, doing this, doing that. Everybody that's involved at Precision Holsters is an expert at making the holster. Am I correct?
And you know what I think is
we're amateurs at just about everything marketing or Facebook or outreach. Rise. that is our amateur hour. What we do is make good holsters and customer service. That's really, that was our main goal when I decided to go full time. That's what I wanted to do, was to interface with the customers, and I had to go through hundreds of hours of training of just gun handling. That was mainly what I did a lot of the time. Was me and John would go out to the range and we'd spend time shooting and talking. Not even like, oh, he's going to show me how to sell guns or sell holsters. He's going to show me why we decided to do this. Sure. And he, when we first started the company, a lot of it came with was I had been in the military. And coming out of it, John was really interested in becoming a better pistol shooter, becoming a concealed carrier. And I had nothing for him. I was like, dude, I don't know pistols. What am I going to teach you? None of this applies. This is all hogwash. So that's when we decided to bring in industry leaders like Mike Seeklander and Masada Ayub and say, hey, we want to make a product that you guys would want.
Yeah.
And
they did.
And so that's where we back a lot of our stuff with, is like, this is what we've learned from the guys from the top of that field.
Yeah, Seeklander and Masada Ayub are tough names to beat in the industry.
Exactly.
Hypo, you were gonna say something.
I was gonna say, one of the things that I really like, and the more that we talk, Scott, like one of the things I like is not just the fact that it's just you talking to us as dudes, but it kind of shows us that the company and the ideas and the people behind company Precision Holsters, and I'm sure other ones too, really do care about their customers, because you guys realize the gravity of what you're selling. This is something to protect somebody's life, and you want to give them the best that you possibly can, because you want people to be safe.
Yeah. I think we have time for one more question.
Hit it.
It's a pretty generic question, but I think we can make make a quick but fun interpretation of the question. And our good buddy Don Rayner would like to know. It says EU. I didn't realize that he was.
Yeah, he's from up there in the greatest cold north, the most northest
like
of the
Sweden?
norths.
Iceland?
Yeah. Finland.
Finland? Okay,
Finland?
okay.
Oh,
Finland.
So Don, my Finnish buddy. So Don Raynorkakin, he'll get that because like every Finnish name ends like Kimi Räikkönen or Jonas Brodin. Well, no, Brodin is Swedish, I think. Anyways, being from Minnesota, I'm very familiar with Finnish names because they're good at hockey. Anyways, he would like to know, what is your preferred ammo manufacturers, and or do you separate between carry and training ammo? I'll take the front on this and answer the second part of that question first and say abso-freaking-lutely. We do separate between training and ammunition. So here in the States, I don't know what it's like abroad with COVID. But I'm guessing it's the same, considering that the States is probably one of the premier ammunition manufacturers for the entire world. There's an ammo
Russia?
shortage. Yeah, maybe. But
France has got some.
Yeah, they do all right. They like to run away, but they do all right in terms of ammo. That was a joke.
It's because they don't shoot it. That's why they got so much.
What's Scott? What's the description of a French rifle on eBay?
Cheaper than it should be, really.
Never been fired, dropped only once.
Okay, yeah.
How many gears does a French tank have?
Reverse?
6. 5 for reverse, 1 for forward in case they get attacked from behind.
I as a history buff, these all feel very offensive.
They are offensive. The French are not actually like that.
I find them very hilarious.
Yeah, they are funny. They are funny. That's what Tundra's about. But no. So to answer the question, do we separate? Yes, absolutely we do. I think all three of us
training from duty from absolutely.
Yeah. So in terms of my preferred ammunition, I do not have a preferred practice ammo. I usually go with whatever's cheapest. In terms of like FMJ,
got some forged around here for you.
Yeah, right. Like Full Metal Jacket.
Anything but Remington, really.
Yeah, sometimes I honestly at this point.
There's no.
I'll take white box, heartbeat at a good price.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
duty gets a little bit into the weeds.
Yeah, I would say so. For me, the ammunition, and I've done not an extensive amount, but I've done probably significantly more than your average person has done in terms of testing, both practical, real world, in terms of like feeding and reliability to ballistics gel and things like that. All off camera, of course, so I can't prove it. I would say HSTs are my primary.
Yeah.
HSTs or Spear Gold Dot would be another top one.
100%. Yeah.
They're kind of the HSTs and the Spear Gold Dots. They don't walk a line. They run that median base of just, they've been around forever. Spear Gold Dot has been around in HSTs or like the federal line of HST style rounds have been around forever. They've consistently been rated as one of the top defensive rounds, something that law enforcement has carried for ages. That's
my number one. Go back to what we were talking about, modifications to your handgun. Is ammo choice is also a prosecutable thing with people
Well, and
loading their own
around.
stuff. And
yeah. And there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word of that? Or like, what's the word for that? Like that trendy round, like that, like the rip rounds or the power balls or the,
right.
I don't think
trendy is fine. Trend, yeah. Popular, yeah.
There's that that
Gimmicky,
round that,
really.
yeah, gimmicky. There's that gimmicky round.
Big time, yeah.
Back when I started like getting super serious into shooting just post my military career, Powerball was a big thing. I don't know if you guys remember Powerball.
Yeah, I never shot any, but
so
yeah,
Powerball was like the ultra light, almost frangible but not quite.
Right, they were like 85 grains and stuff, and
so they were super
ridiculous.
fast. And so to me, as kind of the analytical thinker, I was thinking, okay, well, I live in an apartment, so I want that light, hard-hitting round, but it doesn't penetrate. And maybe in that specific case, it's a decent round. But as soon as I leave my apartment, being the fact that it's the middle of winter, 40 below zero in Minnesota, now 6 layers of clothing acts as body armor against that round.
Yeah.
So
oh yeah,
don't you know there, bud? Huh? Fucking right there, huh? Fucking get her chooching up there, right? Good. Fucking right there, huh?
Right up the keister,
You fucking got it there, bud, huh? But yeah. So what I'd say is find that ultra flexible round. Find the thing that does, with bullets, you don't want specialty ammunition.
Correct. Usually, what you want to do, like with the modified weapons thing, is you want to copy what your local police are using.
Good advice.
And a lot of the time, it's gold dots.
Gold dots, yeah. HST.
But you also have some stuff that's kind of been industry standard, like the HST, your critical duty, critical defense.
Yep, those are good too.
And that kind of stuff has been proven enough to go. It's defensible in use.
100%.
If you're using something radical like your RIP rounds,
I would say 100% that I would not be opposed to carrying critical duty or critical defense. I think that those are supremely efficient rounds.
100%. All of my defensive rounds are critical duty.
Mm-hmm.
Critical defense is good. I like critical duty better.
Mm-hmm. That's the open hollow point one, not the polymer ball.
Yeah, either one is fine. But if you're going to use something that is not off brand,
but just outside of the norm,
less than common. Yeah, less than common. You have to justify why you're using it. If it's you can walk in and be like, it was the only thing on the shelf in the gun shop when I bought it. Fine, that's perfectly defensible.
All right,
but if it wasn't, that's it.
Hypo, do you got a quick one for it, or did we cover everything? Okay,
I think we're good.
We're gonna do one more here really quickly because I think this is an awesome question to finish on, and it's something that I love this question. So, Adventure Capitalist, our good buddy Cap, would say the best hurricane / disaster, and he covers all his bases here. Carry concealed, open, plate carrier, or war belt, or rifle. So I would consider this to be a question about your overall kind of shit hits the fan kit, as opposed to like specifying a singular type of thing. And what I'm going to focus on here, because I've just recently updated 2 pieces of what he was talking about, is the plate carrier and the belt.
Let me run to the bathroom. You answer. Yeah. I'm sure you know what you're gonna say.
Go for it. I gotta think.
I was not. I honestly, I'm not ready for it. It's sitting in my control room here where I have all my electronics, so I would show it to you. But for plate carrier, I have always been a fan of the Banshee series. I had a Banshee 1.0, I had a Banshee 2.0, and I'm very proud and happy to say I now have a Banshee 3.0. It's stuffed with ICW level 4 plates from Safe Life Defense. It's got the 511 pouches on the front of it, IFAX, radio, the whole thing. So I have, ever since, the nation kind of kicked off with the whole riots and things like that happening in Minneapolis. That's when I decided.
No kidding.
That's when I decided. Okay, I've gone long enough. I used to have a plate carrier. I didn't have one at the time, and that was a really worrying thing for me because if I had to do anything, I'm not under the impression that like I'm gonna be the guy that's somebody busts my door in at 2 a.m. and I'm putting the plate carrier on. Nah, fuck that. But
No.
if I gotta go anywhere, or if I gotta do anything,
anticipated response.
yeah, I'd rather have it than not. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. It's the same type of argument for the gun. What I really want to talk about, actually, though, is the belt side of things. And once again, unfortunately, I do not pre-read these questions. That's if you drop a silly question in there, that's part of the comedy. I have no idea what's coming, so unfortunately, I'm not prepared for this. But in the past, I've had an HSGI battle belt, and that was my go-to kind of. I don't necessarily want to use the term combat belt because that could be used against me at some point in time. But just
I think a lot of people use war belt as
war
pretty
belt.
common.
It's not something that I'm gonna wear on a day-to-day basis. It's that thick, right?
Yeah,
it's meant to be something that you use in non-everyday scenarios. With that being said, with that being said, I think that I've made my decision to switch. And very recently, with our partnership with Leviathan, I have gotten access to a group by the name of Core Essentials. And Core Essentials sent me a belt not too long ago. Albeit it was a belt that was about 10 sizes too large for me.
That's pretty typical.
I said 34. They sent me a 44. I love you guys, but yeah, it's a little bit too large. So if you can send a 34, be fantastic if you're watching. But I did get to play around with it a little bit, and like even with the slack, that belt being a normal style belt, with the reinforcement that they have inside of it and the rigger clip, it's a game changer. It like going from a war belt with a rigger clip and having all the molly and all that stuff and all the complication in terms of attaching pouches and gear. Like, you have the modularity and the flexibility, but in terms of being able to just strap something up and go, and you have a core belt too.
I do. That sits next to my bedside.
In terms of being able to just put something on and go, I have not found any, and granted, I haven't tested a whole lot of stuff in relation to belts, but I haven't really found anything that has been able to meet what they've given me. Yeah. In regard,
it's like, really nice.
And that's something that's 10 sizes too fucking big for me. Imagine what it would do if it actually fit.
I would discount like the Molly war belt scenario, and I have one of those as well with the QLS system for my Safari Land. But I also have one of those attachments on my core belt, where if I'm going to go to the range or something or whatever,
you can do that with these modern belts, these nice like good quality, not just nylon but like reinforced like stiff belts, the 2-inch or the 1.5 inch thick belts. You can run a high thigh rig on those belts now. It's not like old leather or past or old soft nylon of past where everything would sag and it was just based on the amount of belt loops that you had that gave you the support that you needed. No, now you can have a regular pair of jeans but a stiff reinforced belt and and have something that you can run like a high, like maybe not like a mid thigh rig, but like a high thigh rig or like a a semi drop, and have that support that you need. Scott, it looks like you got something.
Well, are you done? I don't want to. Yeah. Okay. Well, first I got to go to my full tactical self.
Oh, he's going. Oh dear. Oh, it's happening. It's happening. Watch those cheeks puff up. That suspension system is not doing you any favors right now, Scott.
Yeah. So,
is that how the ear pro was worn over in Iraq?
Pretty much. Yeah.
I was saying that suspension system ain't doing you any favors these days.
No, but this is the helmet and cover I wore in Iraq.
Unfortunately, it's ACU, so you stuck out like a sore thumb.
Oh well, we were in the city. It didn't matter.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I was in Baghdad. Okay, so when it comes to belts, it gets kind of crazy.
It
right?
does. It really does.
It's a minefield of all sorts of situations where you're talking about, okay, was it easy to get on? Is it easy to get off? Or does it have enough spaces for everything? As far as war belts go, I really don't have much of opinion. I'm more of a vest guy. If it's not on your plate carrier, I usually find that if it's on the waist, you're either going to be blocked from it because your vest is going to be so bulky and overhang all that shit. If you're running
an IOTV, yes.
It's
or
so,
vest, yeah.
It's so dependent on what you're running.
100%.
As far as this is driving me fucking bonkers.
Can't do it anymore.
Okay. Now what we find is that we this is our tactical belt, our so-called nylon tactical belt, and we've made this thing as stiff as possible. But through our website, you order these things and they're pretty freaking. They're stiffer than any leather belt that you're gonna get.
They're stiffer than hypo on a Sunday evening.
Or Saturday or Friday or Thursday.
Yeah, pretty much any day of the week.
These things are so indestructible. They're amazing. And especially with ours, what's fun, I like, is a little bit better than the Cobra system because our loose end here has no buckle on it.
Okay.
So you're not feeding that buckle through your loops. What you ended up doing is you have a single buckle on this end. It's just a hook. If I put it in front of my face here, maybe you can see it. And this is reinforced aluminum. We got guys that are 300 pounds and they do pull-ups with these things. There's a couple of videos of guys doing it. And it's just a loop. You hook it through there. And not a single one of these has been returned. Not a single one has been returned because
it's very
failure.
different. It's very different from like the rigger style clips, where
it's yes.
The disadvantage there is if you get sent the wrong size, now you're screwed. You got nothing that you can do with it.
Yeah, what you're gonna get, we do size these, so you have, but they're pretty generous. Like we want to get it so that you have a little bit of in, a little bit of out, depending on if you're carrying or not. So, but you have about 6 inches there.
Yeah, that's a lot of inches. That's the difference between hypo and myself.
I was gonna say I try and convince my girlfriend of that, but and so we really, these things have done amazing things for us. They're indestructible. Period.
Outstanding.
And I prefer this and use of a vest rig over trying to put everything on my belt.
Well, and I really like. I'm gonna agree with that just by saying that like the whole war belt thing, it takes up so much real estate on your mid section, especially if you're a bigger guy or medium sized dude like myself. You're not a skinny fuck like hypo. That war belt takes up a lot of extra space, and it does, like you were saying, it does eat into the real estate that you have to make things usable. So I think
a lot of those Molly rigs, they don't last. Sure. That's the main thing I've had is like a lot of those Molly systems, they got plastic clips. Your buckles are all funky and they sag over time. They stretch in weird ways. And that's where a smaller, more specific style belt is probably going to actually suit you better. Not to sell my own stuff too harshly.
You're allowed to do that because you're the guest here, so.
Yeah. But can be found at Precision Holsters for $79.99.
Yeah, right.
There are some war belts, quote unquote, that are really, really nice.
Yes, just like any product.
Will last forever, but they're going to cost you. But I find that most of them out there do not fit into that category. Most of them are fairly cheap Chinese junk.
Well, and they're very specific to a certain purpose.
Yes, and that's the other part. Is ours is more general.
That's kind of been the theme of tonight is how to match that desirability for functionality to the widest variety of purposes. And Scott, I think that is where we are going to end the show for tonight. Believe
Absolutely.
it or not, man, Scott, you correct me if I'm wrong, Hypo. We might have broken a record here tonight. I think we have the longest Tundra Nation running show since we rebranded. Because Scott is just such an entertaining fella, and we love him to death. Number one, number two. That hairline's looking fantastic. And number three,
it's Jesus Christ.
That beard though, the triple threat.
Yeah, as it falls off, it's going this way.
I used to convince people when I was working at Verizon. I used to convince people that I just hit my head really hard one day and all my hair migrated south.
Yeah, I need a haircut.
All of
I did. In the comments, there was some. I just want to tackle it before we close out. There was somebody talking about fine motor movement versus gross motor movement, and people that some trainers will emphasize that, and there is a distinction between fine and gross, but that it's not a matter of you can't do it. It's that you have never done it under those circumstances. Like, I am very excited. My adrenaline's pumping. I can't control it. I can't get a key in my front door and unlock the door because I got a hot chick ready to, have some fun with me.
Okay. You keep telling yourself that, but
yeah, exactly. I want to fumble the keys a little bit to getting in that front door. That is because I have
fumbling that night.
I haven't practiced trying to get the keys in the door that quickly.
Yeah, you're setting me up for too many jokes.
Exactly. And this is part of the fun of it.
Yep.
And so if you haven't practiced something under stress, there is a difference between fine and gross motor movement. But if you practice under stress, fine motor movement is completely possible, and gross motor movement is not something to fear. It's just something to be aware of. And that was it. That was just a single comment on there. I didn't want
to. That last statement is 100% the way I would have summarized everything you just said. It's not something to fear. It's just something to be practiced and utilized when you can. It shouldn't be a deterrent to the basics and the fundamentals of the skill.
Exactly.
So
exactly. It's
all right,
not
guys,
a deterrent.
I think that is where we're going to end it for tonight. Hypo, I'm sorry we didn't get you a whole lot of airtime tonight.
I got Scott. I'm happy. I'm actually going to be ordering a Scott from Precision Holsters. I'm going to email them tomorrow and see if I can get a custom Scott.
Are you available? Do you have a body pillow?
Yeah. If not, we know some people.
Yeah, we can make that happen. Ladies and gentlemen of the Tundra Nation, I would like to thank you very much for joining us on this fine Minnesota, Nevada, and California
doesn't matter. Who gives a shit?
Saturday evening, possibly still Saturday evening for me, early Saturday evening for you guys. And I want to say this last one's for you guys. So raise your glasses if you still got something left, and cheers to the Tundra Nation. Love you guys.
Oh, it didn't break.
Yes, there you go. All right, guys, we will see you all next week. When in reality, and this is actually the case this week, we still don't know. Hypo, finish her up.
Fuck we're doing?
We don't know. We don't ever know what the fuck we're doing. This whole stream was put together last minute. But that is what gives us the charm that you love. And continue to come back. We love you guys. We'll see you guys next week, and we wish you the happiest of weekends. Be safe on Sunday, and be cool. We'll see you around. Bye.
Bye.
We'll sit here looking strangely at the camera for about 10 seconds, and end the stream. All right. That way people can actually hear the closer.